Welcome, everybody, to the Giant Slayer series. That's right. Here we are, week number 3. DoA and Frodan. We're back. We're in Galaxies. That's part of set 3. Set 3, week 3. Frodan is in the Green Galaxy right now, apparently. How you doing, man?
That's right. I am lost in the ether that is the green screen. Save me, DoA.
I should have set mine up, and then I could have been there too. But we
That's
need to
right.
find we need to get some Galaxy backgrounds going in the future. So
It is
we're
in
working on it.
pursuit of a normal galaxy because I don't know the last time I've played one.
Dude, it's getting to be more and more. I mean, the last day on Giant Slayer series last week on the 14th, we had all 4 games be galaxies too. So, and they've entered even more of them since then. Actually, now we have Trade Sector and Super Dense. So we'll see. I kind of want to see Super Dense. Actually, I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, there's a lot of new galaxies that keep getting added with each successive patch. Currently in 10.8, we are introduced to the super dense galaxy known as the Force of Nature, where you're able
Mhm.
to get a free unit or free Force of Nature starting from level 5. And we also have the Trade Sector, which is everybody gets a guaranteed free reroll or a refresh at the beginning of each round. So it's really interesting to see how these new dynamics these new galaxies throw in new dynamics with each patch. And I really look forward to see how the strategies will evolve now that we've had some time under this patch.
Yeah, it's cool because we have the medium legends, which kind of slows down the game a little bit, and now we have super dense, which kind of speeds up the game a little bit. So you do see very different styles come into it throughout the day. But hey, let's take a look at some graphics. We got to actually get to the show and get to what we're here to talk about today, which is 8 awesome players are going to be competing. Here's our basic Giant Slayer series format breakdown. As you can see, over a series of weeks, players will compete in a series of lobbies. There are points that you are awarded for your placement in each lobby. And then at the end of the group play, we take the top 8 players across 2 groups, bring them together in one big finals lobby for a couple games to decide who will be the season 1 champion. It's pretty fair. You get a lot of chances to prove yourselves, and I'm excited to see who comes out on top.
Yeah, so we are in about week 2.5 or so. Like we're
Kind of,
kind of
yeah.
trying to piece things together because of that one week where we had a little bit of lock-in issues. So the point standings might look a little uneven, but we'll keep
Yes.
you posted on how the finals are going to be shaping up next week or so. In the meantime, let's just keep enjoying what we have in front of us because the players still can, jockey for position. A lot can change in the next couple of nights that we broadcast the Giant Slayer series. In the meantime, this is the prize pool of how things are breaking down. And $700 for first place, and then a few hundred from second, third, fourth, fifth through eighth, and ninth through 16th. And we do want to make it dense. I know some tournaments make it super top heavy, but we recognize that
Right.
TFT, it's about how consistent you can place, and sometimes even the best players, they'll be playing for like second and third all the time. So we do want to reward people for being able to nail that if that's the case.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's still a growing esport. We want to try to encourage people to keep playing, keep grinding, keep trying to be the best. And so it's important to give, everybody a little bit at least for showing up, right? So we do have that. Let's take a look at
Totally.
our points standing so far. And it's like you mentioned, Dan, you can't really look at this and deduce right now who the best players are. You can definitely tell which players are playing a lot of Mech Infiltrator uncontested. That's easy to see. It's delicious milk all the way at the top. But a lot of players towards the bottom of it have played one less day of matches. So the points are going to look a little bit less for them overall, not because they aren't playing well. But you can see some early front runners. I think Raditz is a big name that pops out to me right away. Second in our points overall. And I would argue probably the most consistent player we have across all of the games he's played.
Yeah, Raditz, I believe, has been placing top 4 in most of his matches. I think he might have not placed top 4 in one of them, but he's been
Yeah.
largely using cybernetics and kale compositions as the core of his set play. I think that's really a testament to his consistency as well, because cybernetics is not something that's easy to constantly play every single lobby because it does have so many conditions on what you're trying to look for to hit your power spikes. And Raiders has done a fantastic job trying to look for it, trying to play really cautious, as well as playing aggressive when it counts. In the
Right.
meantime, Gunmay, Fluffy, Soji, Becca, Kurum, and Solus all are within our top 8, that could change depending on tonight because, like we mentioned, that second half, a lot of the people in the bottom only had one chance. And I'm looking forward to see if some of our specialists who might be really good at one or two compositions and demonstrate mastery of it can make some movement in the standings tonight.
Yeah, we'll see. Now, time to look at the schedule here. Of course, today's players, April 20th, we've got Gunmay, Fluffy, Kurumx, ScottTheTeemo, Agon, MismatchedSocks, Tien, and Khroen in our lobby today. And that should be a fun one. I'm actually really looking forward to watching Gunmay play today. Gunmay was pushing a lot of Void Brawler the first week, switched it up the second week, and played a pretty good variety of things. Went second, 5, 7th in his game. And so he's another player that I think has a lot of talent and can play a lot of different stuff. So curious to see
Mhm.
what he could do today. Again, you can see our players that we're going to see in the lobby tonight.
Yeah, and we've also been talking up some of the players from Europe as well. Fluffy, obviously, the HS part of his username makes me a little bit more biased towards him, but
Yeah, I
I
can see that.
believe Fluffy quite possibly could be one of the best players you haven't heard of yet in terms of the top performing players all the time.
Hmm.
And I've been hyping him up, and I think the first 2 weeks he had middling results,
It was a
but
pretty rough week last week for him. 5, 8, 2, and 6. So he did that have that
yeah.
one second place in there, but it was a little bit off overall, I'd say. So hopefully we can see him bounce back a little bit today.
Absolutely, and I really want to see him pick up the results. Another person that's been kind of surprising us is Tien, and Tien had done decently well, in his first appearance, and I want to see him be able to follow up with some more
Yeah.
momentum. So those are some of the players to pay attention to, on top of the usual suspects that everyone wants to see. Everyone knows how good MismatchedSocks is. Everyone knows and loves Kurum. And Khroen has also demonstrated a lot of a lot of high level tournament performances that are really respectable as well, and climbing to top 10 of the ladder. So I'm
Yeah.
really looking forward to see what we've got today because it's a new patch since our last cast, and I'm excited to see what people can do with some of the new galaxies and units.
Well, it's not just the new galaxies and units, right? It's also the economy and the damage has changed as well. It's going to be really interesting. We see a lot of games sort of are or a lot of I should say a lot of comps are not quite able to be slow rolled the way that they used to be slow rolled. You have to kind of play strong throughout the entire game, and we're not going to see people kind of open fort and just like give up their early game in order to build a lot of money up because you just take too much damage now.
Yeah, the entire pace of the game has a lot of different changes. So, I really like that you brought it up. Health is going to matter a lot more. People
Yeah.
are playing a lot more aggressively these days. So, we'll talk a little bit more about it as we get into the games because it does depend on the galaxy, it feels like, and
Mhm.
obviously the state of the game for each individual player, right? How their items and how their economy and how their board looks like. So, lots to talk about. It feels like TFT is one of those games where if you just pick a subject matter, you could probably talk about entire game's length about it and still
Oh
not even
yeah, for
address what's
sure.
happening in front of you. There's a lot of depth and complexity to what's happening at the highest levels, and I'm really excited to share about it today.
Well, there's so much in this set and in the game that's so unexplored as well. Like I was just doing nothing but like a Darius reset and pirate comps yesterday on one of my accounts just to kind of like try it out and see if you could make anything cool with it. And it was ridiculously stupid, but it was so much fun. And now I feel like I know a lot more about Darius and pirate comps. So there you go. So there's so much to learn about this game. I love it. We're gonna start off game number one. It's time to get into it here in Giant Slayer series. And we're gonna start off on board with Fluffy, the Hearthstone extraordinaire, now TFT extraordinaire, looking, as we said, to bounce back a little bit. Played a bit of Brawler Blaster last week, a bit of Dark Star, a bit of Chrono Kale. Had his best results with Dark Star, but hey, who isn't lately? So we'll see what he's got.
Yeah, those who grab tiers will immediately start looking for an opportunity to go into Star Guardians,
That too.
and those who start with swords might be looking to go more into the dark stars. It's a star patch, if you will.
Yeah.
And then, of course, don't get us wrong. There's lots of variations of builds that people have been exploring. It feels like Rebel reroll compositions with Yasuo and Master Yi. We call them the Slash Bros.
Yep.
or the Bang Bros, however you want to call it. They're really
Depends
powerful
on what
still.
depends on what channel you're on and what rated it is.
Right. Yeah, the maturity level, in which case,
I I think
I'm
we
not
can
going
go
to comment
Slash
much about.
Bros for the family
Yeah,
friendly
the
one.
Slash Bros.
Yeah, so
There's
it's good
also
enough.
people who start to deviate a little bit and play maybe regular Rebels, or people who are focusing more on Jinx carry,
Sure.
and playing that as part of the Rebels, or just playing Brawler Blasters in general. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of compositions that we can talk about that are still climbing the tier list as people continue to explore this patch.
Well, we are gonna have to remake the lobby. Apparently, Chrome disconnected. So since it's just started, we might as well do that. People haven't lost a whole lot at this point, so we'll remake real quick and get into that. But I'm glad you brought up Rebels actually, because Jinx carry has kind of been the thing that we've sort of been seeing a lot lately. But I was looking at a player in the top 100 today actually that was running a lot more traditional, I guess you could say, Rebels builds, where there were a lot of games where this individual was itemizing Jinx, but then there were also a lot of games where they'd go up and itemize the GP, itemize the MF, itemize the Aurelian Soul. Actually, I saw a lot of ASOL carry games, and this guy was like number 80 on the NA ladder this morning, which is pretty high up there in Challenger, honestly. So there are people out there finding ways to make sort of that traditional like good stuff comp work, which is interesting now that it's even harder to quickly get to 8 and kind of utilize that. So I'm really curious to kind of see if people are going to start exploring more standard, traditional, I guess you could say, rebel comps.
Yeah, and I think that that just goes to show you that the patch is still evolving a little bit,
Yeah.
and what's old becomes new again. I think protectors have somewhat fallen off completely, given that they feel like they don't scale nearly as well as they should be, and
Mhm.
because of the popularity of Darkstar, which kind of preys upon things like a Shinzao and Jin is really powerful. And now that Xerath has entered the fray with his really strong nukes onto the board, makes it really difficult to handle those 3 point carries of Xerath, Jin, and Shaco.
Yeah.
So, Darkstar, definitely one of the most prevalent compositions. Part of me expects to see lots of Darkstar and Star Guardian dominance, but maybe some of the older builds like Rebels, as you said, or Mech Infiltrator or Brawler Blasters can make its way back into the top and really show people why they aren't a build to be underestimated. And if you have an opportunity to explore that part of your gameplay, you definitely should.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I think a lot of people are grinding on other accounts or on normals or something like that to try to kind of discover some of these other comps. I think it's really worth it. And the thing is like the more you play a comp, the more you start to recognize the little nuances, right? And it's not in TFT, it's not oftentimes the comp itself that wins it for you. It's sort of the little nuanced things that you kind of do yourself as a player throughout the game that really determines fourth through first place, I find, where you can have 3 Dark Star players, but the one that's going to win it, there is a bit of luck involved, of course, in terms of what items you find and if you can roll a little bit better. But at the end of the day, generally the player that positions their Shaco a little bit better, or maybe, protects their Jin a little bit better, or, powers something else up will find a little bit more success rather than someone just like doesn't scout, anything like that, doesn't think about their items, doesn't think about their positioning. So it is a nuanced stuff that you really only learn from like playing a comp a bunch of times.
Yeah. So I think that, when we're looking at compositions that have a lot of flexibility to it in terms of how you itemize and how you choose to fill out the remaining synergies, it's going to be a lot more dynamic. But with certain other compositions like Star Guardian, it's going to be a little bit more rigid. So you might see some players, jokingly once again declare that they are going to be forcing one or two compositions.
Yep.
But it does feel like there's a little bit more ability to sustain more than one player now. I think one of the big problems with Mech Infiltrator in the past was that it felt like only one player could really play that composition.
Mhm.
With Dark Stars, it actually feels like three people could probably play it because you only need a
Oh yeah.
two-star your units. The only problem is that, of course, I think some people take that a little bit too narrowly, and 4 or 5 people in the lobby are playing Dark Stars. It feels like
Yeah,
sometimes.
it does get hard to two-star your Shaco if there's 5 people doing it. But you are right, that you only need a two-star Shaco with, like, a GA and the healing item usually, although that's starting to change a little bit, but generally that's accepted to be where, like, your Shaco is gonna be strong and can kind of carry you.
Totally. So here we go. We're going to restart the game. Fluffy this time starts on the sword and not the vest.
Ah, and medium legends now as well, so we have a galaxy at this point as well.
A different
All right.
galaxy. So Medium Legends is if I were to kind of pick two ends of the pendulum here, I
Mhm.
would say that the super dense galaxy that gives you a force of nature at level 5 and the medium legends are on two opposite
Oh
ends of the
yeah, for
spectrum
sure.
here. One is very aggressive. You're trying to level very quickly to 5, get as much pressure onto the board, and when people lose on stage 2, they lose a lot of HP.
Right.
On the other side, Medium Legends feels like you could have all the time in the world. So perhaps people will be start gearing towards more late game oriented compositions and itemizing and rolling accordingly.
Yeah, for sure. It does give you a little bit more room to kind of like play that reroll style that was so popular before the patch happened and the damage changed and the streaks changed, right? Where you had a lot of people rolling up to that Shaco 3 all the time, or like the Nico 3 and the Cinder 3, and you still want to get there, but it's a little bit it takes a little bit longer and it's a little bit more dangerous. So having 25 extra HP certainly helps you kind of like play that quote unquote old school
Woo!
10.7 style if you want. But hey, how about that for a cybernetic start for Fluffy?
Yeah, and he has the Infinity Edge already on his bench ready to go, which
Yeah,
means that is a very good cybernetic start. You can put that Infinity Edge directly onto Lucian to help get that early game board presence. And Lucian, surprisingly, with Infinity Edge, seems to be one of the strongest ways you can open. I say surprisingly because I think a lot of people would prefer to build things like the red buff and Giant Slayer.
mm.
Oh wow, he
Oh,
even has
GA
Guardian
as
Angel
well,
as an option
huh?
too. Hmm.
Some tough choices. This is a hard choice actually because you want the IE for Aurelia eventually, but you also kind of want a GA. But I will put this out there, and you tell me if you agree with me on this, Rodan. Like
Sure.
I will say that maybe cybernetics is not is one of the few comps where GA is not as important as some of the other items. I think a lot of comps like Star Guardians, you need a GA on Nico, right? But with cybernetics, you don't necessarily need a GA on Aurelia for her to do well. So I wonder
Yeah.
if maybe the IE is more valuable actually for cybernetics.
Yeah, I really like that you brought that up, though. I think that Guardian Angel, while being extremely flexible and one of the best items that you can really play onto almost any carry in the
Hmm.
game, people have been really trying to think outside the box of like what they really want the carry to be doing. And so while things like units like Shaco would really want a Guardian Angel, especially because he's jumping straight into the fray,
Yeah,
people are saying, you know what, I just kind of want Irelia to be killing anything that she touches. So having two Infinity Edges and a Last Whisper or an Infiltrator Claw seems to be the primary way people want to build. And if they don't have another person to hold things like a Guardian Angel, they could explore that. And I
right.
think that maybe the best way to phrase it is that there are good items and then there are the best items. And I would definitely say that the good items are things like Guardian Angel and the Irelia, but I would prioritize that Infinity Edge for sure. Plus, you can keep the vest
Yeah.
for a red buff.
Yeah, exactly. Red buff is great on Lucian. You can transfer to somebody else later, or just keep it on him when you remake him to move the IE off. But yeah, I would say for cybernetics, you probably want to save it. He's just going to spread the items out across everybody. I think I saw as a MismatchedSocks was cycling through different player views. And if you're doing an early cybernetic start, why not? You don't necessarily need that IE. You could just go for the stats, and that looked like what he was doing. But MismatchedSocks finding the Chrono Sorcerer synergy out of 3 champs, trying to use it to get some wins early, but it's not. So at least he's got a little bit of a loss streak going, gaining some gold that way.
Ooh, very much a awkward position here for Sox because he
Yeah,
really prioritized getting that early loss because he'd be able to get that early game interest. But if he wants to make goal, he would have to sell that Zoe, which is annoying given that he also has a shop of a second Shen. So I agree with this from Mismatch Sox. Just gonna most likely lose to any board because he has two Shens and two Twisted Fates, but he's going to prioritize his economy. And this is Medium Legends. You can afford to take a little bit more punishment. Yes, the player damage has changed, but that 25 extra life might be that big difference maker to allow you to be greedier like this.
yeah, I think that's fine. And what we saw as well was that he had, I think it was like 2 rods and a couple of things, so he didn't exactly have the makings of a lot of great items yet. So might as well just go for better carousel placement to try to pick up something useful. And he's got it. Wow, 4
Oh,
spatulas. All
interesting.
right, this game just got a little bit wild.
Yeah, so people who want to be using spatula-based compositions, well, they're pretty much in luck.
Yeah, you're
Uh,
set.
this is the point where people who have a tier think, I really want to commit to Star Guardians. Those who have a lot of rods and perhaps have a bunch of infiltrators and mech pieces can start thinking about going demolitionist spat on Kaisa and playing mech infiltrator. So
Yep.
this is a really interesting game that's already developed. We have a galaxy that's unique with medium legends, and we have an early spatula start for multiple players.
Right. Another thing that's been popping up now and then has been Darkstar Ash as well. The Darkstar players
Oh
wanting to
yes.
add that spatula in there too, just to get that insane Ash damage. A lot of times she can just like delete groups of people with her arrow if she gets a couple Darkstar buffs before it goes off. So she can get a little bit scary with that. But I wonder what adaptations we're going to see. On board with Khroen now from Cloud9, my casting partner for the charity tournament the other day, and he did a great job too. So great player, and I think he's got some casting chops too.
Oh, certainly.
Obviously,
We
he already
have
does some with Giant Slayer, but you know,
yes. I would definitely say that Khroen is a top 3 Giant Slayer caster for sure.
yeah, yeah.
Only because I think it's only us 3. I don't think I don't know of any other casters off the top of my head that works on that
Well,
stuff.
there's
But
Casanova and Fight Night, I suppose, but
oh, you're right, Fight Night.
yeah,
How can I forget about that?
top four.
Yep. Well,
They're
showing
in there.
you what you should be doing and prioritizing. Although, here's a really interesting deviation of what I wasn't really expecting, which is Crone's not trying to prioritize the 10 gold. Instead, he's
Hmm.
buying out the shop and instead keeping his options open to
The sound of
potentially
the
2
bank.
stars Darius. What do you think about that?
I think that he has been taking my Reset Darius comp conversations that we've had over the past couple days way too seriously. That's what I think. We've actually been talking about this, like Khroen and
All
I,
right.
the other day, where it's like, can Darius carry? Can you do something like really crazy with like Darius builds? I had like a 6-star Guardian, like a Star Guardian Darius game where I had Star Guardian Mech and Star Guardian Darius. It was dirty and awful and filthy and had no business being anywhere near a pro player's hands. But like, here we go. Oh, but a Darius 2 on the other side. Tien picks it up first. He's gonna go Star Guardians, but Darius, you can see, man, the resets.
It's
This is why you start thinking about it. When the Space Jam comes in, you start wondering, is this a real build? Can this be a real thing? I don't know. I'm not gonna commit to that, but I'm just saying that conversations are being had. That's all.
Yeah, it seems like Khroen is not really trying to open
Just like
himself
most
up to the mech infiltrator. Like, I was kind of wondering the value of grabbing that blitzcrank that he had previously. Now he has another
Sure.
blitzcrank opportunity, but he held on to the pair of the pair of Kazakhs instead, and that makes me think like, whoa, oh, maybe he's like open to some mech infiltrator starts, but he does have an Annie in his shop, and it doesn't seem like he was favoring that either. And there is a Shaco instead. So with that sword, with the fact that he has an Infinity Edge that he hasn't committed to, oh wow, he finds a Lux as well and
Huh.
an Ash. I mean,
Oh,
he
dude.
is it is open to a Dark Star
Oh, he
beginning.
sold the Ash though. Okay, I was on board with you, man. I mean, I was thinking that was looking like Dark Stars, but he's still making decisions here. Sold the Ash early, huh? I mean, to
Yeah,
be fair, if you don't have a Caitlyn to pair
oh
with it,
wow.
there's the Darius too. Buy it, buy it. It's happening.
Yeah.
Yes, but
Okay.
he doesn't have good Darius items though. That's the thing. You need
That,
you could put
that's true.
some. Yeah, you want maybe like a Seraph's, but you want something to boost the alt damage, right? So you want like a Death Cap or something. Or at least you want like a Hex Tech so that you can at least heal him off of the ultimate and he can bounce around healing and resetting. But it's you know, you can do some funky things, but he doesn't really have the items for it. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Darius is just a strong early unit now, I think, so it's okay.
Yeah. His items are great for Dark Stars. He had
Yeah.
Bloodthirster and Last Whisper as an option. Meanwhile, we're going to go on to Gunmay's POV, a player that you were hyping up before the broadcast. And it seems like he's just playing a very versatile comp. I think 2 Chrono, 2 Brawler, 2 Blaster is one of my favorite openings right now.
Mm.
Largely because it's extremely versatile and you have a lot of item carriers that you don't feel bad playing. If you want to play like an Ezreal, a Caitlyn, even a Twisted Fate. All of those are like viable units to hold your items as you start transitioning into the comps that you want to hit, especially if you're
Right.
playing more of a composition that plays chrono brawlers like a KO comp. So I think that the fact that Gunmay has this opening, he also has a spatula, which gives him even more flexibility if he wants to like use it for a celestial orb or he wants to use it or infiltrator claw. It just gives him a lot of options. So if you're a player that favors playing very open, a very much like a grand vice style as opposed to a more of a narrow way, like Delicious
Mhm.
Milk, who likes to commit really early, I highly recommend looking at builds like this because I like it a lot as an early open.
It feels really good. Like it's so many strong synergies and so many just naturally strong units that go into this Chrono Brawler Blaster early game. That
Mhm.
yeah, definitely agree. I like the early redemption on Jarvan as well. Jarvan is kind of the sort of sad bro of the Dark Star composition, in that he always goes out first if you have another Dark Star. Like nobody really likes Jarvan in general as a unit, and so putting the redemption on him, giving it here is lore appropriate, I think. But it's also like if he's gonna die early, you might as well heal.
I know. It makes me so sad that people don't value Jarvan. I'm starting to favor Jarvan over Mordekaiser in late game scenarios for Dark Star.
That's an interesting conversation. That's
Yeah.
so you're in the Jarvan camp, huh?
I am in Camp J4,
Hmm.
absolutely. And I think the reason
All
why
right.
is because I think most people are misunderstanding what they really want to be doing with Jarvan. They
Oh.
think of his role in Summoner's Rift, like the idea that he's initiating, so he should be a frontliner. And I think that a lot of times positioning with Jarvan is more important than the fact that you even have Jarvan or someone else. Um, it's just a little bit unfortunate because I think Jarvan's tags, the fact that he's a protector in particular,
Hmm.
I think is what people assume that he's not good. But Jarvan's ability, surprisingly, is very good. So you see some people who really try to prioritize placing Jarvan in a spot where their carry can benefit from it. But a lot of times they just leave Jarvan by themselves in the front line. And if you do that, no wonder Jarvan sucks because he's just buffing himself.
I suppose, but like you if the problem is you put him in the back line by a carry, but then he walks away from the carry and goes on his own anyway. So how do you do that? Like what's your front line if you're playing Dark Stars and subbing out Mord for Jarvan when you get that Dark Star spat?
Oh yeah,
I'm
I mean,
curious.
totally still going for it. It's about making things lean towards that
I
direction.
see. Okay.
Very very similar to how people utilize Blitzcrank and Vi as like combinations to help manipulate the board state, to
Hmm.
help things like Kale and um, Squid Boy Vel'Koz
Vel'Koz,
to be more
otherwise known
effective.
as Squid Boy. Yeah. It's,
Yeah, he's a good squid boy. I think similarly to that, you would want to try to position Jarvan in a way that can really benefit your team. It's a
sure.
little bit difficult to explain it audibly, but I could probably show you after the broadcast, or you can just watch some of the top streamers who are really starting to do that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Just little things like what side you start the unit on and who's
Right,
around him.
exactly.
You can kind of like mess with targeting a little bit. So I like it. I'll have to give it a try next time I play
Mhm.
Dark Stars. Right now, Agon is playing a game called Waiting for Master Yi because he's
Yes.
not found him yet. Ziggs is a good
Oh,
item carrier though,
yeah,
but
and he's
he's gonna fall
playing the
off soon.
Slash Bros composition, which is
Yeah,
something especially risky. It's one thing to go for like a Rebels start, and then some people even just commit all the way and play Aurelion Soul and Gangplank like the good old days, or perhaps use
yeah.
Jinx as a carry. It looks like Agon instead is committed to try and get Yasuo and Master Yi to 3 stars if he can find a single Master Yi.
Man, it's so agonizing when you can't find one at all. Like we all have those like Star Guardian games. You can't find a Nico, but look at this. He's got the Yasuo 2 before single Master Yi finally hits the Master Yi.
Hey.
Kha'Zix 2? Interesting.
Worth thinking
Sells
about.
it right
He
away.
just sells it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was like, I don't know if you need that, man.
there's not much value into it.
Yep.
And he already had another Ziggs ready to go, so he can get more Rebel buffs.
So 2 out of 3 items have been acquired for Yi. Just waiting for that Bramble Vest, I believe it is. A lot of people use Bramble Vest or Titan's Resolve. What do you see more commonly? MSG. I
I
can't
see
remember what the
Bramble Vest.
perfect one is.
I
Bramble
would say
Vest?
Bramble Vest is becoming increasingly and more important with each, Dark Star win on the current ladder.
Hmm.
Just because to negate the critical strikes of people's attacks, especially when you're facing like Jins and Shakos, feels super important because we know Master Yi in a vacuum can beat anybody long term. He just needs that time
Right.
because he's able to deal true damage and he heals himself. So he's essentially like a killing machine. The problem is if you burst him down, he can't really out heal that and out value it. So
Yeah, pretty
I do
much.
value that Bramble Vest a lot.
Fair enough. I bet the Tiendo playing Star Guardians is like, that's the last time I'm going to lose to you, man. Because oftentimes Star Guardians does pretty well in the Slash Bros. Forgiving a couple pretty insane late game comps that Slash Bros can achieve. But
Yeah,
generally,
precisely.
does well.
Yeah, I really like that you brought that up, DoA, because I think that one of the reasons why Star Guardians feels so hard to deal with is that, even if you have defensive items to try and counterplay units like Syndra, Dragon's Claw still just doesn't really stop the damage from killing you. So, just because Syndra's ultimate, it just gets stronger with each cast, and she gets mana so quickly, especially if you start itemizing her. It gets really difficult. So I do believe that is one thing that this composition can struggle with. But at the same time, part of what makes this composition so effective is because it's so good at picking apart those damage compositions. And sometimes the Star Guardians aren't able to get online, and you're able to really outlast them. That being said, this is a galaxy where you can get it because it's Medium's galaxy and you have so much time.
You've got time for sure. I think the one thing that Star Guardians has is Ionic Spark, just because that negates a lot of the magic resist that comp can build up over time. But if you don't have it, then Slash Bros can get to be a big problem. Yasuo especially can get shot by the Cinder and then come back because he usually has a GA like he does in this game right now. It feels a little bit bad to build the GA on Yasuo because you really want that Bramble Vest for Yi, but you gotta put a couple items on the Yasuo, and usually GA is the first one you're looking for.
Yeah, and in another reversal of last week of what we're talking about, ScottTheTeemo leading the lobby at 118 HP.
Whoa, Yasuo 3!
Roll down. Yasuo 3 nailed by Agon.
He found that so fast. He got a shot with 2 Yasuos right after completing his second Yasuo too. Like that is one of the most like feel good roll downs I think I've seen in a while. He's still got 30 gold remaining. He's in good shape. Definitely happy he slammed the GA now.
And it makes the composition feel so fun when you have so many good hits. Shen getting the 3 stars is important. Obviously, Yasuo and Mastery of 3 stars is important. Some people play Sona and get her to 3-star, put some mana items onto her. People are even 3-starring Blitzcrank because it feels like he insta-snipes any carry he gets to use his ability on.
He does, man. Blitz 3 is the best sniper in the game.
I know.
Just reach out and delete someone.
I saw somebody itemize Blitz with mana items, and I was like, I don't know about that, but I respect the hustle. I respect the hustle a lot.
No, you shouldn't have done it. You gave me the incentive, like the mental idea to play another game, like the one-shot Blitzcrank build. Oh man.
Yeah. The one shot, the slingshot.
One kill. Mega Arms Blitzcrank. But like the problem is Blitz is just too contested between all the brawler players, so probably hard to 3-star him pretty consistently, but I want to so bad now. I want to do that and put 2 death caps and a Seraphs on him. Or you don't even need the Seraphs, just like 3 death caps on him. Yeah, let's do it.
Yep, sounds good.
2 death caps and a QSS.
Yeah, 2 death caps, 2 QSS. I think one of the most important items, by the way, that we haven't really talked about also is that a lot of the times, part of what makes the Slash Bros composition so powerful is disruption. Yasuo is very good at getting onto the carry. Blitzcrank and Shen are really good at messing with their opponent's game plans, particularly if Shen's able to get that very powerful dome over his allies. But getting a Zephyr is also really important. So if you're looking at Agon, I wonder if he's going to try to prioritize getting a Zephyr or just more carry items for his Yasuo.
Yeah, we'll see. On board with ScottTheTeemo now. We'll see what he has planned. I guess it's a lot of mana related stuff, a lot of tiers. Megatron Cloak.
Yeah,
I mean, tiers are great, but not when everybody has one.
Yeah, and it seems like Scott is doing really well so far win streaking. He's at over 100 life. Everyone else is in the double digits.
Yep.
And one thing that I think he has to start considering is how is he going to transition? He has some interesting items, but he also could just maybe stay the course and 3-star his Vanguards if he doesn't want to transition out of 4 Vanguards.
He doesn't really. I mean, picking up a Thresh feels good, but at the same time, like, I don't know how valuable it's going to be for him right now. And he's got what, 3? He's going for kind of a Vanguard blaster build. It's a bit of a hybrid composition, but it looks like just wants to power up that Jace as much as he can. But he hasn't really hit any snipers. He hasn't really hit Jace 2 even yet. This is looking like a rough one, even though he is still in triple digits. I feel like this is going to start to fall off really fast.
Yeah, he's in the lead, and he might be
Like
okay
now.
for a few rounds. But I think ScottTheTeemo has items for more of a carry a KO composition. You can see that he has Morello. He has the RFC, the rapid fire cannon, and he has the ability to make against his Rage Blade. These are all fantastic items to place with the KO. However, he doesn't have KO. Instead, he's finding, her not so distant cousin Irelia, who seems to be going hand to hand in a lot of those compositions.
Doesn't
Also, very
even know.
funny that RFC on Jace kind of puts him as a as a second row unit, even though you really kind of want him in the frame.
You know, the funny thing is I've been experimenting a little bit with RFC on Jace and Darius because getting them to stay safe while they build up their first ultimate is so nice. So I don't know. I definitely don't think that's ideal items on Jace, but I think it's an interesting thing to kind of think about.
Totally.
Xerath
I would also
the
like
shot
Scott
you're talking about.
to sorry, I just
no
want to
worries.
finish that before I forget.
Yeah.
I really would love Scott to explore this idea of picking up Xerath. I think that a lot of people look at Kale and think that if you don't land Kale, you are hopeless. But a lot of times, Xerath could also hold very similar, if not the exact same items as Kale, as many people have agreed that Rage Blade is one of the best items onto Xerath.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
you can kind of play him in the pocket, similar to Kale.
He directly scales with attack speed. So, yeah, I think he does fill a similar slot, and you don't necessarily need any synergies to make him strong. He's just such a strong hero on his own. He's very fragile, but he is like kind of the ultimate glass cannon, right? Where he goes down quickly, but if he gets some time, he'll just wreck the entire board. So I think maybe, yeah, you add him in there with a strong front line. You maybe go like at least Sork 2 to power him up a little bit more. And then just kind of unleash him, right? And use your Kale items. Yeah, I totally agree. I think he can fill a very similar spot. What do we got? Another sword.
Yes. And now we're at that point where there might be a little bit too much transition and pivoting going on if there's no clear direction.
Yeah.
Another Xerath appears in his shop and looks like Scott's rolling down trying to see what he can find.
So picks up another Aurelia. He does have Mana Reaver between Thresh and Aurelia. Oh, there's another Xerath, man. And I don't want to hear about the like he could have had Xerath 3 by now because we all know it's just Xerath 2. There you go. All right. We all know the one he saw earlier was just the same one that popped up again, but Xerath 2 for ScottTheTeemo. So power spike, and I wonder if we are going to see that Xerath carry. Certainly can go for it now.
In the meantime, we're going to go to Tien, who's playing the Star Guardian Sorcerer build. And Star Guardian Sorcerer, still with a lot of burst, doesn't have the ideal double Seraphs, but you just really need first Seraphs is the key to get the Syndra to use her ability very quickly.
I agree. He's got 3 tiers overall. The Ludens being the third one. That means that Syndra only needs to attack once to activate her spell, so it's not that bad. She's got a higher attack range now, so she can do that more safely. And I think if you look for a third item now, it's going to definitely be something like a QSS or maybe a Trap Claw or something like that to keep her a little bit safe. In fact, I go back and forth about the QSS on Nico. It's nice to not have to worry about Nico getting Zephyred at all. But at the same time, there's a lot of rounds where you're going to be like, I kind of wish that QSS was on Syndra. So we'll see how this rolls out. I'm not saying I definitely wouldn't say he's made a wrong decision, but I'm curious to see how it's going to end up.
Totally. One thing also interesting to note is that Tien's playing 2 Syndra 2s on the board. And now has made another Syndra on his bench. That is a Syndra 3 if I've seen one.
Yep. And Syndra 3, especially in a medium Legends Galaxy, you're going to find it. He's just doing the old style of just slow rolling on level 7, and he found it. Hey, why not another Syndra?
What?
He's got all the Syndras, basically.
Yeah, no kidding.
The more the merrier. You know, that we see Darkstar players putting in multiple Jins right now, and he's selling the Syndras, but you can actually do like multiple Syndras if you have an extra spot. Usually you don't with this comp, but I've seen it done. I've done it once in a while myself on the way to Syndra 3, and it's not bad because it just powers up your whole team with a lot of casting.
Yeah, that was just so unusual because I haven't
Yeah.
seen Syndra 3 and then just being offered two Syndras. Then again, I haven't seen anyone else contesting Star Guardians. So Tien could just have a
Ooh.
runaway game here because he might be in a position where he doesn't lose for the rest of this game.
I think it's really looking like that. And he's using the kind of new school corner positioning that a lot of Star Guardian players have been adapting to. He's pretty close to a Nico 3 in that he just needs to find 3 more Nikos to do that. And if he can hit that Nico 3, I think he's got a really good shot at just winning the lobby. Even lets
Yes,
the animation continue. Nobody does that.
I know.
Wow.
Usually they just summon the planet and move along with their day.
Pretty much, yeah. Letting the whole animation happen. So Shojin's would be probably what he's looking for here if he can get it in time.
Yeah, Shojin's is definitely the best available item to him. I think the next best item is Zeke's.
Yeah,
because
totally
he
agree.
does tend to stack things in a line, and getting attack speed is totally fine to help get you more mana to help you cast. So if you think about what Zeke's does, it gives multiple people accelerated mana, which I like.
He also has a Xerath now as well. So putting Xerath next to the Zeke's character is like a legit good idea in Star Guardians. And it makes that item, yeah, put it right in the Ari. Okay, yeah, I like that actually. Putting the Ari a little bit farther up to hit the backline easier. And then just making sure Syndra and Xerath, the 2 heroes that you want attacking the fastest, are powered up by that. It's pretty good. Zeke's is a great item right now, actually.
Yeah, I think it's a very solid tier 2 item. I don't think it's something that you prioritize, but if you have leftover components or you have an opportunity to kind of slam it and try to keep your win streak up going, continuing, and maybe re-up on stuff, I think that overall it's a pretty solid choice.
Yeah. Yeah, Xerath
Good
especially will be doing a
positioning,
lot.
in particular because Xerath and Syndra are both the targets to use it for.
Yep. So you saw the Aurelia kind of come in and just immediately get destroyed. That is sort of one of the reasons why Star Guardians started clumping up everybody in the corner. Is because when you have everyone spread out, you don't have to worry about as much area of attack like you did before. But things like Shaco, things like Aurelia have a lot to wade through, and they're going to be standing in the line of fire of a lot of CC generally, and a lot of Vel'Koz lasers as well. If you go 6 Star Guardians or 6 Sorcerer with the Star Guardian Bangle, rather.
Yeah, we have two things going on right now. One, I want to make a comment that ScottTheTeemo is almost eliminated from this lobby, and we kind of pointed out that he's probably gonna have a hard time transitioning. The second is that there's another undefeated player in the lobby, and it is Agon rolling the slash bros, hitting multiple 3-stars. So it could come down to a showdown between the Star Guardians and the Rebels. However, one composition that can give Star Guardians trouble is exactly what you're watching, and Aurelia that's really souped up can give the Syndra tons of problems. And it looks like Tien's going to take his first loss in that many battles here, and he loses at a crucial time because it's before the PvE round, so he can't roll into that round with all that interest gold.
Wow, that is really tragic, actually, that he lost that. And you try to position against the Aurelia comps, and that's rough. But you put it on Soraka, and now Soraka's your AD. You're fine. You're fine.
The bananas of death.
Gonna go to Fluffy, who's going for Brawler Blaster here, and has some pretty sick Jinx items, pretty strong MF items too.
Yeah,
Dark
MF
Star
having
Medal,
the
though.
Rebel spat is definitely curious to me. It's not something that we see very often these days, but it makes sense. We're just trying to give Misfortune some kind of attack power. And I also like the position, as you said, the corner position to stop Shaco and any other infiltrator from getting to her super quickly.
Yep, trying. Let's see, but that is a pretty useless item. It's a little bit of it's a brawler's gloves basically, or it's sparring gloves. That's what it is, pretty much. Because you'd make it from combining the sparring gloves and the spat. So at least you get those stats. But that's really all it is.
Yeah, it also could be used in a couple of different ways. If you play cybernetics, you can use these spatula items to help buff it. He doesn't have that, so that's unfortunate. And the second thing is that sometimes you can use these items to bait Yasuo to go ahead. Oh gosh,
Oh man,
Fluffy lost his misfortune instantly.
Cho'Gath also did not get to ult. That is really rough.
Oh my
But
goodness.
Syndra ults once, and then
Oh
if
wow.
Xerath goes off, then you just start wrecking people.
ScottTheTeemo out in 8th place here, DoA. That wasn't something I was expecting immediately, like this quick. I kind of thought Scott would hang there for a little bit longer, but we did mention that he had trouble transitioning, and I think
Yep.
he did not find a single point and direction of his build that was able to stabilize in time. Very unfortunate for Scott.
Yep, that does happen some games where you just kind of get pulled in a couple different directions and can never really make a decision,
Yeah.
I suppose.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is hesitation. I think when you see players using the first 10 seconds just thinking about what they want to do, instead of like using the downtime to kind of plan it out, I think that's usually a sign of struggle.
Yeah.
And Fluffy, even though he had direction, doesn't seem like he's able to do much, but the misfortune
Oh,
coming up big might be able to eliminate Kurum here.
yeah. He actually takes out the Aurelia. Kurumx
Oh,
goes down to 6 HP. No, 2 HP actually after that. And we've got a pretty tight lobby. Aside
yep.
from Tien, Tien is pretty much, well, he did lose that last round, but he's still got a lot of HP remaining. But everyone else is pretty tight right now.
Yeah, so the base damage has now changed where at stage 6 you get fewer base damage, so it's only 10 instead of 15. Before at stage 6, if you lost a single battle by 1 unit, you guaranteed took 16 damage.
Right.
Now it's 10, but it scales based off how strong your opponent's board is, with how many 2 stars and 3 stars that they have. So it's a little bit more variable, but it is scary because if you lose overwhelmingly, like to Tien's board, it feels like you're going to take 20 plus damage in that one round.
Right. So here we go again. Fluffy trying to stay alive, going up against the Zareth comp right now. He's got a lot of items. Nice Cho'Gath ultimate, though.
Yeah, that
Zareth
Cho ult
still
was
gets a lot of
sick.
shots off, though. Oh, man. Behold the damage of Zareth. Is he going to live? Doesn't matter. Shaco is right behind you.
Yeah, this is why the Guardian Angel is so
Shaco,
powerful. The
no.
2 Guardian Angels. And Fluffy gets 7th by
Oh,
a single
no.
hit point and a single round there determines whether or not he's able to even sneak into the top 4. Kurum is out in 6th. Agon, who looks so promising with his reroll composition, getting the Rebels, might have to use one of these spatula items to help pull himself out if he can find one. I'm not sure what he really wants here, to be honest.
Yeah, we'll
Redemption,
see. Kind of
he
weird
got a little
items
bit
on the
lost
carousel for
himself.
late game. Yeah. We did have the very last game of the charity tournament on Saturday. We saw Revan actually go for Slash Bros, get down to like I think it was 11 health, 19 health, something like that, and then come all the way back and win the game. So you never know. This comp can be dominant if you get just the right items at just the right time. Doesn't really have the right Master Yi items that you'd be looking for. 2 Rage Blades is scary, but you kind of lack that durability that helps you survive. Like you said, the Shaco rounds especially.
Yeah, part of me also wonders, as he has a second Warmocked with Shen 3-star, how much health is that? I kind of
Wow.
wish Titanic Hydra was still a thing. I'm pretty sure at this point, if he had Titanic Hydra, Shen would basically be a second KO.
Yeah, pretty much. He'd be doing so much damage, even though it's
Uh,
only a tiny percentage of his
yeah.
health.
Also, how much attack speed does he really need? 3 Rage Blades, a Zeke's Herald.
He needs all the attack speed, Frodan. That's the answer to that.
Yeah, and
Yasuo. Oh, Master Yi gets lit up.
like it's not enough, and he goes up against Tien, who is the strongest player in the lobby. Agon bombs out in 5th, and we have our top 4, but Tien is destroying everybody in the lobby. If this wasn't Medium Legends Galaxy, this game would already be over.
Yeah, for sure. Tien would be way ahead. On board with Khroen now. As you can see, he went for the Dark Star composition. He's got a couple of Jin 2s in there, which is pretty common late game. You just add in another Jin 2 while you're looking for the Jin 3. If you're
Right.
lucky enough to find it. But he's spent all his gold because he has 4 HP. He knows no matter what, every round could be his last right now. And we'll see if MismatchedSocks Kale comp is enough to do it. He's got the
Yeah,
MF as well.
this Misfortune and Shaco dynamic is going to be really important. Misfortune gets a big ultimate and clears off almost all of this. And
Oh,
MismatchedSocks comes
Jin!
down to Jin
One
versus
more.
MF.
Woo! That was close, man. But he was able to win the round and stay alive. MismatchedSocks 1 HP below him now.
Right.
3-4. This is a tight lobby. And
It's a
Tien.
very tight lobby.
Tien keeps losing games, man. This is not over.
He lost to Gunmay, who I believe was playing the Dark Star. He hit 9 Dark Star?
What?
He hit
He
9
did.
Dark Stars in a single lobby, fitting it all on the board. How did that happen? He
We
found 2
finally
Dark
saw it happen.
Star spatulas.
Huh. I mean, we did have 2 rounds with spatulas in them. So if you found a couple sparring gloves, I guess
What?
that's all it takes. But we've actually got one of the prestige, prestige synergies unlocked for the first time in this game, and maybe for the first time in the tournament since it was put into the game last week.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty
This patch
crazy.
is less than a week old,
It's
though.
kinda
I have
hard,
not even
Yeah.
seen
I think
someone
this is
hit
correct.
a prestige
It buys
synergy
time
yet,
for
let alone
Shaco,
do it in a
So-
tournament
So I
against
think
the
it's correct, but I
best
think there's
players
like,
in their region. This
I
is
think there's an argument to be made
unbelievable to
for,
witness.
Darkstar Ash is the
There's
normal
arguments to
thing
be
you would
made for
expect to
sure
see the
for,
spatula put on,
for
but we've got
Teamfight being
Darkstar
effective.
Lulu as well, which maybe isn't going to benefit from the damage as much, but now everybody gets that big boost, when someone dies. So this could be scary. I feel like if you get this and you lose the game, you're going to feel real bad.
Yeah, but I don't think he's gonna
We won't-
lose. Every single Dark Star
I don't think
gives
so
when
either.
it dies gives 45 attack and spell power. For reference, that is especially because you have 9 Dark Stars. That is more than double the bonus than you normally would get. That is an unbelievable amounts of damage that's being poured out every single time a Dark Star dies. That is so incredible. And he has Lulu too.
Yep.
Like Lulu too to help abate some of those powerful frontliners, which he ultimates and polymorphs to frontliners. It is going to be absurd to think of a board that can take out 9 Dark Stars right now.
It's positioned really well too. It's not quite in the front, but it's far enough up there that Lulu should be casting pretty quickly. He's got the Warmogs on her, of course, which makes her a little bit more tanky. So it's not bad.
Yeah. No chance. Okay, Gunmay's going for the 9 Star Guardians. Does it even matter? At the same time, it might. This has a lot of burst coming out from TN too.
I mean, if Syndra can hit the right people, Xerath is dead, but there are too many carries. There are just too many carries in this build. You've got Jhin, you've got Shaco, you've got Xerath, like 3 major carries. Star Guardians only has 2. You've only got the Syndra, and you've only got the Nico. So the team with the more carries wins, I guess.
Yeah, he's rolling for the possibility of getting Shaco 3. Ashe, also a Dark Star who inherits a ton of attack damage. Even just having the Dark Star bonus and Ashe uses her ability, kills people.
Oh,
One
away.
shake away from Shaco 3. You can see that Gunmay isn't really even prioritizing positioning scouting right now.
Seems like the game
Strong enough.
I think so. I mean, what is he going to do? Maybe move the Zephyr around a little bit. It did kind of get wasted against that Nico, it seems like, but we'll see if the damage is enough. This looks like it'll be the end of the game, and no matter who takes it here, Xerath v Xerath, the GA brings Tien's back, but that's all he's got, and that's going to be the end of the game. Gunmay takes first place in the first game of the day.
Wow, unbelievable. Gunmay gets the forbidden 9 Dark Star composition and crushes. I wasn't sure if I was gonna see something like that. At least not for a while, right? Like it's new into the patch, and we see it in the first lobby since
I'm writing that down right now, man. Like Gunmay, 9 Dark Star in the first game of the night. What a crazy beginning. So Dark Star, 9 Dark Star, doesn't even, do the normal Dark Star thing of just partying everybody up. He goes the ultimate Dark Star comp, wins that one. Does end up having to play against a strong Star Guardians board as well. And man, what a result. There's, as you can see,
result.
updated in real time for you.
That's right. That's right. This is how we do our scores for
There
people
you
who
go.
are curious.
A peek behind the curtain, as it were.
Yes, that's right.
9 Dark Star, though. Like, I did the thing where I was so excited to write it down in my notes that I hit the caps button first, and then I tried to write it normally, so it looks all wonky. But I'm just gonna leave it that way because that was a wonky finish to the game. That's crazy.
Yeah,
So
it was such a spatula heavy lobby. We saw that Tien also had 2 Star Guardian jewels, and I mean, there's no stretch goal for Star Guardians in the way that it is for Dark Stars and Infiltrators and Blade Masters, for example. But it's certainly interesting to think about. And also, I wonder if having too many Star Guardians actually is a negative thing because Star Guardians share mana. So the more that you have, the fewer mana points you get when one person casts their ability. So I'm not really sure, but
this
at the
was
same
a give
time,
mana to everybody else, though.
it's true. It's true. I'm not sure. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not sure because I haven't really like
In Star
done the
Guardians,
math.
mana is a renewable resource. It's green casting, man. Yeah.
Sustainable mana.
Sustainable. That's right.
That's right. For a
Sustainable
better future.
organic mana from the Star Guardians.
That's
Scar
right.
Guardians? I don't know what that sounds way more sinister.
That's right. On to a more green galaxy.
That's right. You're very green over there. Oh, I pointed the wrong direction. There it is. See, it's tough because you're on that side on my screen, but you're on this side in real life or virtual life. This is as close as we get to real life these days, so it's fine.
Yeah, you stay right there, DoA. I love you and all, but don't get any closer.
Yeah, you too. At least 6 feet away. I feel like our borders are maybe like a little bit thin. This doesn't look like 6 feet.
That's right. We'll ask the graphics guy to move it a little further apart.
Depends on how large somebody's monitor is. I suppose there's some monitor. If we're like being broadcast on the side of a building right now, then we probably got 6 feet between us.
Yeah.
There you go.
So, even though 9 Dark Stars were hit, I think it put on full display of like why it is strong because we saw multiple Dark Star
Mm.
players in the top 4. Khroen also landing a normal variation of the Dark Star build and still very solidly getting that positive LP. But we're not
Mm.
really measuring people's LP ranks; we're measuring their points. So good job to Khroen to be able to nail that. And also, Agon, I had so many hopes and dreams for that Rebel comp to land the top 4, but what do you think went wrong for him?
It's hard to say. Like I'd have to go back and watch it from his perspective, but I think at the end of the day, like Slash Bros really seems like a comp that either just destroys or it just fails miserably. And I think I'm starting to develop the hypothesis that you need to find perfect items and you also need to find your 3 stars really fast. And if you can't do one of those two things, if even if you do one and you don't do the other, I think the comp has a real hard time against some of the ideal stuff in the meta right now. So it's successful, but it's kind of like I would say like Vanguard Snipers is, where it just feels really fragile through a lot of stages of the game unless it hits like just the right stuff.
All right, so with that, I believe we're just gonna go straight into the second lobby. No break,
That
Doa.
is correct. Yep, going right into it. Gunmay for game number 2 here at the Giant Slayer series. Brought to you, of course, we should mention this, by Juked, one of our awesome sponsors here. They created an awesome landing page for everybody. If you type !Juked in chat, you can find a page that has all of the player point of views. So if you want to watch Gunmay all the way through this game without swapping willy-nilly sometimes on our stream, you can go and do that.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone's streaming at the same time. Juked is a very good resource in order to keep track of a lot of streams, not necessarily just TFT tournaments, but if you wanted to watch, all of those other cool Twitch Rivals tournaments, I heard those are pretty sweet. DoA cast them from time to time, or all those other
Yeah.
events that are happening right now because there's a lot of tournaments going on during this time.
Absolutely. Yeah. Esports is the world may be slowing down, but esports is only speeding up. So here we are.
That's right. That's right.
Moving
It's the
into
Chronos. Esports is the Chronos synergy.
pretty much, yep. Where I'd say we're up to like 4 chrono right now. We could be a little bit quicker, but we were at 6 chrono before the whole COVID thing happened, and now we're kind of slowed down a little bit, but still moving faster than many others.
Definitely.
Yep.
All right, so going into game number 2, we have double glove start. When I see double glove, people look at Thieves gloves. I think double Infinity Edge on Irelia is
Yeah,
like the
for
first thing
sure.
that I think about.
Yep. I mean, you could do a lot of things with it. If you do want to rock the Thieves gloves, then you're kind of, I feel like Protectors is what you want to go, because the Thieves gloves on Nico is so good when you combine it with all the other like 3-star Jin Zhao and like Rakan. But I like waiting to see what you have, because QSS is also a very good item. So as tempting as it is to slam those Thieves gloves, I think it's better to wait.
Yep. Let's see. He has the opportunity to make a QSS, and I think he's thinking about it. But QSS is a great item. I don't think anyone argues about the validity of Quicksilver and its role right now in the metagame. It's about whether or
Yeah.
not you feel like it's good to play it early. It seems
Oh,
like
I
you
don't think
usually
so.
use Quicksilver after you've established what you want from your carries.
It's
Oh
nice.
no!
Oh,
Missed the
well,
Blitzcrank.
Yeah, that does happen. It does have the pirate synergy going though.
Yeah, and
Finds the early Darius.
I was thinking about if Thief's Gloves is also good on any early users, and I think Darius might low key be one of the best Thief's Gloves users as well.
Oh yeah.
It's not something that I've done a lot, but I have seen it one time, and it was destroying when I got to see it in action.
Darius can use a lot of items really well because he does a good mix of melee damage and spell damage with his ultimate. So it is interesting to see. He's going to slam the giant or the chain vest onto Graves to try to make him survive for just a couple more hits, which he did. Frozen Heart for Poppy, pretty nice in this fight, I suppose. Darius not going to be
Yeah,
able to get any resets off of this, though. Malphite's a bit too tanky.
yeah, we are in a normal galaxy, what looks like. So
Yep.
just play by the normal rules. And under the normal rules, player damage has been ramped up. So try to go for those win streaks early. It's always been the name of the game. An early Jace, are you kidding me? He also finds an early Shaco. These are really expensive things, but they also
Yeah.
can pay off massive dividends.
I mean, you got to put the Jace in, right? Like, I mean, Graves is nice, but Jace Darius is a stronger front line. He's thinking about buying the Graves, but I don't know if you really need it all that much. I mean, you are kind of losing the opportunity to play blasters early, which does hurt sometimes. But
Yeah.
and just
He
have
can
more pirates attacking things, but he can maybe do it if he wins,
Right, exactly. I think you can just totally buy that Graves later.
Yeah.
Um,
If he
when he
wins.
wins. This is such a powerful start. However, he's staring at a 3 2-star board.
I was gonna
One
say
with a
that's
trap claw.
yeah, that's a 3-star or 2-star Caitlyn rather, and a 2-star
Yeah.
TF. So there's gonna be a lot of damage coming out.
And
Oh,
part of the issue is that Graves is particularly very good. Wow, level and
oh,
lose.
that's rough.
That's a real bad feeling moment there for Gunmay. And Tien with the emote. How could you? That's so brutal.
You got to do it, but
Oh wow.
Gunmay is the one who has a real emote potential where he can do like the
Yeah.
grave digging thing with the mole diver. That's what I always do.
Yeah, guess who's not getting invited to the squid party next time?
It's okay. The squid party ended a couple patches ago. It's fine.
Yeah, or perhaps the squid party had never gotten started.
Well, it was a small party. It was a very exclusive party that not many people were invited to. I enjoyed my
Ah,
time there,
yes. The 100
but
squids party. I hear what
you
you're
know,
saying.
it's better to leave earlier than be like the last person going for that
Ah,
Vel'Koz 3. you
yes.
know.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I've been to my fair share of Twitch after parties, don't worry.
Oh yeah, dude.
Always
SCQ
better to leave
days. I
early.
don't know. Dude.
So the thing about this composition that I was kind of pointing out is that Graves 2 has been a higher priority for a lot of early game players. And I part of the reason why it's effective is because if you have a bunch of melee units that crowd around Graves, he'll basically stop them from being relevant for however long. I think it's 3 seconds, and it scales now. I think it's 4 seconds if you get them to 2 stars. That's a
Right.
long time in these early fights where they're not doing anything because everyone's really, attack driven this quick into the game.
Pretty much. Here's our carousel, and we'll see. We're going to go over to
Yeah,
Khroen's view here to see what he decides to choose. Doing a little bit of scouting around the board right now. Khroen is last. He's going to be in the last group to choose, so pretty much has to take whatever he gets.
yeah. I do want to point out one last thing about what we saw, by the way, from Gunmay, that he pre-leveled right before
Hmm.
he went to the carousel. He had 4 gold left, so he leveled and has 8 EXP out of 10. And then next turn he'll get a free roll at 5, which gives him a chance to spike. I don't know, Jin, Irelia, Kale, one of those 4 cost or tier 4 units that are insane.
Yeah, it's one of those little things you can do to give yourself that little edge. So Khroen finds the Leona 2.
Okay.
Still playing really wide. Khroen does seem to like to do this. He likes to play really wide rather than
Yeah.
focus purely on the economy and give himself a lot of different options. Because he's got a couple different things, right? He can go for snipers. He can go for vanguards. He's got some options. Vanguards and snipers until Darkstar comes online.
Yeah, and I think that one of the things that I just value the most about Khroen is that he plays extremely open and wide. We talked a little bit about players like Grand Vice who also likes to play that. I think Khroen is in that category. I just think it's so fun to look at Khroen's lol chess profile or whatever match history site you like to use, because he's usually playing a very diverse set of builds.
Mhm.
Sometimes he does hone in and focus and just like solos one composition if he's feels like that's the most effective way to climb, but it's kind of rare. I feel like Khroen does play wide very often, which I always appreciate in a game like TFT.
Yeah, I think at its peak, like TFT is a game that's played where you react to what the game gives you, right? And the wider you play, the more you're going to be able to react to what you see on your board. So there it is, the Jarvan 2, Dan's favorite Darkstar unit,
Oh yeah.
undisputed, loves the Jarvan.
Oh yeah, just slam 2 Infinity Edges in a last whisper on a Jarvan. Just watch him do work.
That's right. And when he boosts his own attack speed, oh boy, watch
Yeah,
out.
yeah, that's right. He has his own steroid,
Yep.
and everybody else gives him attack damage and that that ability power, so that he gets even faster attack speed.
Right, exactly. Put that death cap on him and just watch how fast he attacks.
Oh yeah, yeah. The people don't really know how to unlock that fourth item slot on Jarvan, but
Yeah.
that's why they call him Jarvan 4.
That's right. He's not Jarvan 3. He's Jarvan 4, everybody.
Yeah, come
Get
on.
it right.
That's
Yeah.
why everyone's playing him wrong.
He died that round, but Jarvan's gonna be back next round. Don't worry. He's
Oh
gonna be
yeah,
back wrecking people.
yeah.
Dunks come in for Karam. And yeah, so Khroen even picks up the Nico. All right. There's a Soraka there. No, he's not gonna go for it. I was like, if you find a Nico and a Soraka, you've got the hardest parts to find for Star Guardians. So then you kind of like go back, and I don't think he wants to sell everything and maybe wish for tears off of the Krugs, so, or the Terror Bursters rather.
Yeah, it looks like Khroen is leaning again towards a Darkstar composition. So the other side is that part of the reason what we talked about Khroen is that he can play wide, but in tournaments, even back in the Fandom Legends tournament that we casted a few months ago, DoA,
Mhm.
Khroen was trying to force what he felt like was the best composition. He was trying to play Blender a lot, and
Right.
didn't exactly work super well for him because it was very hit or miss. Like 1 week he dominated, and the following week it felt like he got crushed. And I think that was kind of the volatile nature of the build. But at the same time, it was largely considered the best build by a significant margin. So I
Yeah.
think he was totally right for going for that.
It was a build that relied on a spatula, but it was still good. It was that good that even a build that relied on a spatula could be, top of the meta. It was a lot easier to find spatulas back then too, but still, just the fact that that was it. And then after Blender, people went to the Azir thing. So we're gonna go over to Kurum's view now and see what we can see with that, which is not much at the moment for us. But
Yeah.
let's see. I'm gonna jump into a different
Yeah, it looks like
screen.
Kurum on our perspective is his bit rate's a little bit wonky, but it
He's
looks like he
playing
did
the
get the
8-bit
static.
version of TFT right now.
Oh yeah, just take me back to those days. 8-bit TFT,
That's right.
right?
He's also
Such
playing
simpler
Cybernetics
times.
Space Pirates, is the answer to what you see in front of you right now. And he
Yeah,
has
and he did
some.
slam the static shiv, which is something that I feel like I don't understand myself too well yet. I've tried to play a bunch of shiv openings. I've tried to play shiv transitions, and yes,
Hmm.
I've also obviously picked up shiv off the carousel when there's no other better item, and it's always been very okay at everything. It's been very average to say the least. And I feel like a lot of other high level players know how to use Shiv really well in terms of their positioning and timing.
Hmm.
I just feel like I don't personally. So I'm very curious to see how effective Kurum's mid game Shiv can be here.
It is a mystery to me as well. I like the static shiv, but yeah, it is hard to find a way to sort of like transition with it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, his space pirates are doing work, man. He is making money with this.
Oh yeah.
Not enough,
It's too
not gonna
bad.
survive, but
It's too bad that Graves too ruins everything. He just shot. He smoke grenaded Fiora, and she just sat there for half the battle, watching all of her allies die, like my Fioras in Summer's Rift.
hey, that's kind of what Fiora is. Just a long riposte, all right. Just really, really getting ready to counterattack.
Right. Or a very accurate reenactment of my silver promotion series.
Exactly. I was sadly not around to see that.
A chilling reenactment. I don't know how they nailed it so cleanly. But
Well,
yeah, you know,
Karum,
Static Shiv does tend to transition into KO compositions, and I've had trouble doing that. But I know that Khroen loves cybernetics and KO compositions a lot, so I want to see
mhm.
how he's able to do it.
So the question is, who does he put it on if he goes Dark Stars? Because that looks like the direction he's heading right now. And I suppose, maybe you'd put it on the Ash for the tier so she would cast a little bit faster. I feel like the Ash would get the most benefit from it. What do you think?
I think late game, it goes on Xerath.
Sure, yeah.
And you because he gets mana and he gets the attack speed. I do think in the interim you can place it onto just like any kind of carry that you feel like would be really useful to get those things to get his ability activated. But for now, I'm
Hmm.
totally okay with him holding on to it. Because the thing about Dark Stars, I think people might misunderstand, is that you're not supposed to necessarily just start Dark Stars from the very beginning.
Right.
You can transition to it off of Vanguards, off of like Chrono Brawlers, as we saw the previous game. Um, some people do just straight up pivot into it like raw. Like I was watching a Grand Vice game today where at stage 5-1, he had Kale 2 with Rage Blade and all these like great items, and he was like, well, I think I'm just gonna start going into Dark Stars. I'm like, what? It's 5-1. This is like the end of the game, bro. And he did it. And I think and he did he played I think he won that game. It was so amazing to see. I was like, what?
The Dark
Um
Stars are pretty good.
yeah. Well, I mean, also, I think that's like a good lesson for us to learn that you don't always have to just start and end in the same composition. You can go ahead and flex based off your
Right.
composition. And also, Grand Vice was making a read on the game because there was only one Dark Star player in the lobby, and he was able to very easily transition into it.
Right. Now on board with ScottTheTeemo as his Ash Arrow fires out, but she's pretty much the only one left. As Jace is not going to last very long, and that is going to be another big loss for ScottTheTeemo, and this is second lobby in a row now where he's been struggling a bit,
Yeah.
and you can see it on his face, man. He is not happy with the results right now.
He's not happy with the results, but it's not over yet. It's just
No.
that losing this much before you even get to the infiltrator round Uh, definitely hurts. And you can see that he's transitioning to the Dark Star build, but I've seen this exact type of situation where you're playing a bunch of 1 stars
Mhm.
and you have Dark Stars, and it does not usually end very well.
Well,
Um,
even when they get that damage boost, you don't really get any durability boost, so they're still going to die really quickly and just not be able to put out the damage that you'd hope. Generally,
yeah. For one thing, for example, I would really love for him to actually just play a 1 star Shaco. 1 star Shaco with a Guardian Angel plus some kind of heal item can still output 5 to 10,000 damage in a single round, which is absurd to say or think about, but it's really true. That unit's so good, even just as 1 star unit. That being said, Scott has stabilized, and it looks like he has found a point where he can kind of even out a little bit, but he's going to need a little bit more work in order to climb back more into this game here.
yep, pretty much. Let's see what he finds. Think about moving that Jace around a little bit. I feel like he liked the go of the build that's popular right now, where you go 4 Vanguard sniper and you really make kind of Jace your carry, but it just doesn't seem like he's found the items yet for it, and he's given up a lot of HP to get this far. So it's tough. So Scott the
Uh,
Teemo.
yeah, ScottTheTeemo.
See what he gets out of the items.
He picks up a
Well, all
glove
right.
and a rod.
Yeah, so not super ideal items. I mean, you can build a trap cloud of that, I guess, which is nice for your Jin, but needs to find that Jin too. But it's going to be tough at level 7.
Yeah, level 7 is when you usually roll down for the Gen 2 if you do choose to roll for it.
Right,
Because you want at level 7 you can get the 6 Dark Stars online, and then you can play Ash with it, for example.
right.
And then at 8, usually you go for some kind of celestial add-in like Lulu, and that's like the very common build.
Hmm.
So Scott's doing okay. So far, he just puts a Shaco 1 in. Still going to hold on to the Jace just for a little bit more frontline. That's totally okay. Seems to work out so far, but
Yeah, sure.
time he might start falling off again pretty hard because other people are hitting power spikes as well.
Right, exactly. Like this build that he's using right now is fine throughout like round 3, right? But when it comes to round 4, like you just said, Frodan, like you start to hit those power spikes, and suddenly, like if you're lacking 3 stars, if you're lacking items on your Shaco, you're just going to kind of get run over. And honestly, a lot of Dark Star players will have 6 Dark Stars by now too. Usually it's 6 Dark Stars and an Ash, you know? At least he
Yeah,
finds a Shaco too, so that's something anyway. He's
that's
starting to roll
huge.
down quite a bit.
Okay, so
More.
with Lux and Mordecai, so he's found 6 Dark Stars.
Okay, there it is. Yeah. And it's like I was saying, if you don't have 6 Dark Stars by now, you start to feel pretty bad. Rolling past some Jaces, but as you can see, he's going to swap to the Dark Stars now anyway, so that's fine.
Wait, did he sell his Lux?
He did. Oh no, he stole his
Wait,
Lux.
what?
Oh, he kept this. There's a. Did he buy the Cinder later, or did we have a case of mistaken identity here?
Oh no. That's as far as
Huh.
I see on the board, he has 4 Dark Stars. He has Karma,
Yeah.
Jin, Jarvan, and Shaco. And the 5th Dark Star on his bench is Mordecai, and the 6th is Lux. And then he would have the ability to sell this Jace and his Leona, place the 2 Dark Stars in, and put the Guardian Angel on Shaco.
I think arguably that would be stronger than keeping these Vanguards, right? What's he looking for though?
The
Trying
6th
to
Dark
find that
Star.
Jin too, I guess. But yeah, I mean, you do need a 6th Dark Star again. Mordekaiser in there. All right. It finally sells the Cinder, who is not a Lux.
Yeah, and another problem too is that there's another priority item that's good for Shaco, the Hextech Gunblade, but that's on Ash, and he kind of needs that Ash, and that's why he's been holding on to this Ash 1 so he can replace it.
Right.
But that technically is like a downgrade in power because you're going from Ash 2 to Ash 1.
Yeah, I don't think you'd want to do that. I think you just kind of leave the Gunblade on Ash and just kind of accept it, right? Because you need that 2-star.
I don't know. I really feel like if Scott ends up losing here, it's in his best interest to explore making that transition and selling and go for Ash 1. I really
Maybe
feel
you
like he would
do.
benefit a lot.
Maybe you do. He's
Hmm.
losing, so I mean, why not? Like, there's you don't have you've got maybe like 3 lives left right now with the state of
Yep.
the
Yep.
boards with the rounds you're in.
Hmm.
So it's kind of do or die for ScottTheTeemo right now.
Okay. He fences Zareth. Okay,
That's
that's the
good.
6th one. Zareth does get better when you have Lux, though. It's kind of like a pairing, if you will. If you're
Mhm.
playing Jin, you want the Ash, and if you're playing Zareth, you want the Lux, and then you kind of pair your Celestials accordingly.
Right.
Um,
Because you want the 2 Sork
and
from Lux and Zareth. Yeah.
precisely. It all just it's only because it's just light synergies, but they do make a big difference, especially when you're playing against top level competitors. You need every little bit of edge you can gain. So Zareth, of course, is great. I'm not complaining about the fact that our 6-star stars Zareth he's fantastic.
Mhm.
Just that it feels like it could be so much better.
Well, either way, ScottTheTeemo has no health and no economy really to speak of as well. 25 gold is not going to last too much longer. He is going to do what you suggested, which is buff up the Shaco, and he probably
Yeah.
is going to get more mileage out of that.
I think another thing to consider is to use Karma onto Shaco instead of the Jin,
Yeah,
because
I
Jin's
agree.
at 1-star, and I feel like while that's great, the payoff is so much better by having Shaco be the one buffed by the Karma to get more damage in. He is like your hard carry.
Well, he's
That
got
being
the
said,
karma kind of between the Xerath and the Jin, so we'll see. She buffs the Jin this time, but she
yeah,
might buff the Xerath later.
totally. And now he's going up against Kurumx, who also is playing Dark Star, but it looks like because of the Shaco going uncontested, we might have a good Shaco off. Whoever GA gets popped first tends to win, though. Or
Yep,
sorry,
that's
tends to
right.
lose.
So Karam's GA did get popped first, so he is going to lose, and that is a win that ScottTheTeemo needed really badly. And now you don't need to hit Shaco 3, but all of the Shakos you can take away from the rest of the lobby are huge.
I counted at least 4 Dark Star players, with some people splashing in Dark Star units.
Wow.
It is super contested right now.
Yeah.
It almost feels like whoever doesn't play Dark Stars might be guaranteed like top 5, largely because the Dark Stars tend to prey upon each other. And that matters because you're trying to play for every single point, but at the
Mhm.
same time, like when you're yes, you just need 2 stars of each unit, but it starts to become increasingly more difficult, and you have to roll your gold much more aggressively to get the same result.
So he drops around to Brawler Blaster there.
Right. A Ball Blaster that has a 1-star Jinx, by the way. It's not like it's hit its power spike. That comp is going to get way better before it tops off.
It is a scary Jinx with the Giant Slayer and red buff that he had on there, but yeah, it's only going to get stronger from there. So that is a concerning moment for ScottTheTeemo that he already lost to that.
Right. And I think that Jinx comps. I want to say that Jinx comps line up well into Dark Stars. I can't exactly say for sure yet. I still need a little bit more data under my belt. But it feels effective because Darkstar units, you kind of incentivize them to die because you make your front line so weak. And that works really well for Jinx because then she gets her attack going, and then the blaster effect comes in. She attacks multiple units. So it kind of becomes this arms race, right? Where Darkstar wants their units to die, but the Jinx want your units to die, and it feels like Jinx just snowballs onto your army.
Yeah. So what happens when you make Jinx a Dark Star? It's kind of like putting a bag of holding into another bag of holding. That sounds like universe ending, right?
Right. I think we just divided by 0 when we do that.
So wants everybody to die. Thinking about the Zizirot portal or the redemption, couple different options there.
I love Rage Blade onto.
Yeah.
Okay. I really like Rage Blade onto Xerath.
I kind of do too, but he's gonna go for the Seraphs. Not gonna get a lot of use out of the Seraphs this time, I don't think. Well, Blitzcrank didn't kill him, still wailing away, and Xerath actually lives. Oh no, I caster curse the Blitzcrank, but and yeah, Shin's gonna do it. He's gonna almost send Agon to the afterlife with that one. Man,
Agon, the dedicated Slash Bros player.
Yep.
And, it looked good, but the 1-star Jhin ending people's careers. You know what? I take it back. You should have fun with Jhin always. A 1-star Jhin absolutely manhandling the rest of the units there by himself.
I mean, it does get disgusting when he has Runins, no matter what level the Jace is, I suppose.
Right.
Gets to add in Celestial now with the Kassadin. So that is pretty nice. A little bit more damage on the Xerath just to power him up a bit. ScottTheTeemo, we'll see how much he's stabilized, because I've got a feeling he's still not the strongest Dark Star player in the lobby.
Right. He's going up against Socks, who has gone for a Blade Master build featuring Blade Master Xerath.
All right.
I don't know how good that is, but it doesn't seem good enough against Dark Stars.
I'll give him props for creativity points and bravery. I'll give him that.
How can one be so brave and yet so dead? Socks also rushed to 9, which was pretty telling of how the lobby is going to go. He went to 9 super quickly and is planning on rolling his gold afterwards if he already hasn't rolled his gold.
And we were just told too that ScottTheTeemo's camera may be concealing the information from us, but Agon did just get removed from the game in 8th place. I'm looking at MismatchedSocks' build right now just to kind of check this out, and the thing is that Blade Master Xerath does get the procs that a Blade Master would. His auto attacks do fly out there faster.
Whew.
Oh my goodness!
4th of July, Dark Star Mirror, Xerath's flying everywhere, but comes down to the Shaco fight. That stun is so big!
Wow, Lux to the rescue there. GA gets popped first. And the other Shaco's gonna get one more attack.
Yeah, exactly. It's the GA war. Scott takes the loss, but he doesn't take
Spy versus Spy there.
Yeah.
Oh, a full item carousel. All right. Well, I mean, I guess it is one before Kane's. That's what you see, but
right.
Still,
I do like the Bramble Vest. I do like Zephyr as well. And then the last thing was whether or not there was an item for Jhin, and I would also consider taking something else like a Last Whisper there.
Oh,
in fact, I'm almost convinced Last Whisper might have been better.
Might have been. I mean, the Last Whisper on Jhin, yeah, with Runin's Hurricane, I think that's almost certainly better. I don't know. I don't know the math behind it, but I do know that Last Whisper is very good on Jhin, especially when he has Runins. But we're going to go over to MismatchedSocks' perspective right now. And he was running that Blade Master Xerath, but the experiment appears to be over.
Yeah, Blade Master Xerath sounds cool.
Yeah. Having
But Misfortune Blade Master is also very good considering that she gets the blaster bonus. And if he wants
Mhm.
to make that 2-star, he's going to have to use that Nikos. And
Yeah,
with this
so
Kale composition, it looks like Sox is fighting for a top 4 at best here. That Aurelia is going to go in and try to buy some time and snipe the carries.
no, MF didn't do a whole lot. Well, that MF ult only hit one person, but it
Oh,
was the one
yeah.
person they needed to hit, and Kale going wild. So yeah, that's looking
Nice.
pretty strong for Chrono. A 4
Ye-
Chrono Kale build. A little bit of an adaptation on that.
Yeah, and I think most players have agreed that when you play a Kale-based composition, you're not really trying to use Kale as your end-all be-all. Although if you get her to 3-star, it is pretty cool to watch.
Right.
The real power behind a Kale composition is when you transition into a misfortune carry, and you can see that that's what Sox has done brilliantly. A
Mhm.
lot of times people would be looking for that third item on KO, but the whole time Sox was preparing for the misfortune too. So even though he's at 15 life here, there's a real chance that if Sox positions well, gets the right amount of matchmaking, and perhaps even gets 1 or 2 more correct items,
Yeah.
he might actually sneak into the top 2 here.
So you might be a little bit surprised that he didn't go for the Lulu 2 there, but as you can see, he's got the thresh on the board, so he still wanted something to pull in. Not that he needed it against Karam, just deletes him off the map right now. Also, to update the standings, ScottTheTeemo out in 7th place this game, having another rough game, and really kind of looking a little bit scattered, honestly, tonight in terms of like what he wants to go for, you know?
Yeah. Scott finds a Runan's Hurricane. That's not particularly too useful in his composition. I don't think it works the way people anticipate it with Kale, where it is. I don't think it sends 3 waves.
Oh, no, it doesn't do that.
I've never tried Runans on Kale, but uh,
I think it
it
just
might
sends
be
out
one
the
of
regular
those,
little runes, little
yeah,
attacks.
little bolts.
And it sends
It
them out quickly, but
it might be one of those scenarios where it's still like better than nothing because Kale still gets attack speed, and you still get to have her have her be slightly better with that Runans.
at this stage in the game with 15 HP remaining, I would agree that I think you probably just put it on her just to,
Right.
have something. He could make a Shen 2 with that with that Nikos. Looking for probably a Thresh 2 instead. I think that'd be a little bit better, but we'll see. He might not have a choice. Oh, Runan's on Cassidon.
Oh,
Oh,
he's a
interesting.
mana reaver, so he applies his
Yeah.
mana reaver on hit to multiple targets. I like
I
that.
like that. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool. It's a neat little tech, a neat little adaptation late in the game to
Mhm.
exploit the Man Reaver. He's trying to become poison, basically. But he's going up against Star Guardian's Tien once again, playing his favorite build.
Wow, the
Oh, that
misfortune ult is
MF.
so big. We were
Yeah.
talking about exactly this scenario. Misfortune got stunned by the Nico ultimate. Oh,
This is the danger of corner stacking all of your Star Guardians, is that when you run into the powerful MF comps, you will just be wiped off the face of the map.
wow, Misfortune is smurfing the
Yeah.
Shaco Wars. And
Shaker Wars continue.
Gunmay is out in 5th or 6th rather. Now we were saying, man, that mismatched socks might be able to sneak into the top 2 here. And with each passing round, I'm starting to believe it more. Zephyr and Hand Justice onto that Aurelia, that's a pretty good set of items there, I'd say. Finds a Thresh 2.
Wow. So here's a question. Is he seeing the Zephyr early enough to make use of it? He's scouting now.
Oh, totally. I
At
would
least he can
never.
move
I
around.
would assume Sox is very well in tune with it.
You'd think so. Here we go. He's going to lift the Vi, though, or the Graves, actually. Wait.
Oh, this is good for Sox because all things are clumped together. If Casting can get the attack with the disarm, but he doesn't.
Yeah, well, MF gets an
Misfortune.
ult through right after the Lulu ult happens.
Oh my
MF just able
god.
to waste all the polymorph minions, and it was a ghost, but hey, that's a big win. That might get him into the top 4 if Karam drops right now. We'll see. Karam does die,
Oh.
but goes down to 1 HP. He's not completely out. All right.
Wow.
Lulu 3. Thresh 3? No.
No, it's
Just
just it
wants more
stinks
units to pull
stinks to
in with Thresh.
pull.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I would say that right now positioning matters a lot more than your bench. Something that it's actually a weakness of my gameplay. When I have Thresh 2, the first thing I start thinking about is like, oh, what do I want my bench to be filled about? But a lot of
Right.
times I miss position because of it. I'm rolling too much. And Socks really evaluating what he wants to do. In the end, he was just mixing up and going back to his standard set play.
Mm-hmm. Going up against a strong Darkstar player in a Khroen right now. Thieves Glove's giving pretty nice items to Ash with the Chalice this time.
Oh
Shaco got
no!
polymorphed. Oh, his G is going to be popped really early. And actually, yeah, that Shaco just so well mitigated by the Lulu ultimate. That's going to win the round.
Yeah. Socks really flexing his deep knowledge on positioning, sees an opportunity to grab this Rage Blade for Kale. He's been keeping that position open for a while. And also, if he didn't find that, he still had some other options with Zeke's, for example. But that Rage Blade is super good to have here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's going to be quite happy with that. He is doing a little bit more damage with Aurelia, at least that round anyway, than the Kale. Interesting to see.
Right. I mean, I was worried about the misfortune because I believe she got stunned right as she was using her ability. So that is one thing to consider. If you're going up against compositions that target the farthest unit with units like Lux, Misfortune is a little bit more vulnerable here.
Rage
Especially if
Blade on
people
the
pull.
Kale.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm feeling good right now. However, Fluffy hits Misfortune 2, and he has also hit Jinx 3?
Whoa. All right. Jinx 3 is one of those win conditions
Oh,
for Blaster
yeah.
players right now. So we'll see. This top 4 could be really close, actually.
Oh.
Tien's got a life lead, but oh, man. Oh, no. And he's actually going to pull in the Ezreal. That EMP not going to go through. MF does not get a big ult. She gets stunned immediately, gets ulted in return. The ult goes off.
But the Lulu's so big, and Irelia's trying to clean it up.
That was the second Lulu as well that got pulled in.
The Mana Reaver.
MF. Ooh. Wow. He lived. That was like clutch second Lulu.
Yes.
Pulling it in to get the ult. Yep. Chat, can't believe it.
That was nuts.
And we still have 4 players in the lobby. That's the funny thing. Nobody dropped on that one just yet. Tien took a loss though. This is anybody's lobby right now. Well, any of the top 4 remaining anyway, but any of them.
Yeah, all of them are one bad loss away. However, if they lose a close one, we're gonna see multiple people survive.
Right.
It's possible that all 4
Star Guardians.
Great position on the Kassadin.
Yeah, that's right. Slowing things down quite a bit. The Lulu ultimate goes off for Tien right now. Oh, MF gets blasted by the Syndra 3. And that is going to be the end of the line for MismatchedSocks. So close, but yet so far. Star Guardians still in first place right now. It is just Tien versus Fluffy right now. Rebels with Jinx 3 versus Star Guardians with Syndra 3.
Holy
the Seraphs
smokes.
actually picked up for Fluffy.
Yeah. Seraph's a little bit late, but 2 Trap Claws makes Fluffy well positioned to deal with a Syndra ultimate. Stunning for 4 seconds is a huge deal when you're dealing with auto attack compositions that try to melt your army.
Now, Tien has a static Shiv available to him now. And so that's something at least. It's another mana item, but not super useful this late in the game. Maybe put that on like a Lux or something like that.
Yep, just needs to find the right positioning here. If anything, I feel like both players are still like well positioned against each other.
Right. Yeah, it really depends on if Syndra can get that ultimate off onto the MF. And the thing is, by the time you get a couple Syndra casts in, MF is going to be the highest life percentage on the team for Fluffy. And that MF or that Jinx, I suppose, might become the prime target. Although there are trap claws on both of them, though, which is really good.
There's trap claws. And I would say this Ezreal ultimate also has the ability to change the battle because it can stun and EMP a bunch of units and looks like it's going to crush the Star Guardian army.
Ooh.
The reposition from Tien did not work out. Did Fluffy take the win? He did.
Wow, he did it.
That is going to be the second game of tonight. Brawler Blasters with the 3-star Jinx and a souped-up Misfortune will take it home.
Yeah, and so a great result for Fluffy, obviously, but a pretty awesome result, too, for Tien, who has placed high in 2 lobbies in a row, I believe. Yeah, took second in both lobbies tonight so far.
Yeah, so while Star Guardians were not able to be the definitive winning composition, 2 seconds
Mhm.
is usually enough to put you commandingly in first place based off
Yeah,
of what's happened so far.
that's pretty good. Yep, 2 seconds is going to give you 16 points already in the night. So yeah, that is strong. Yep.
Yep. So, I got to say that Fluffy's committed to the Blaster Brawlers for the past two lobbies, and the
Mhm.
previous one did not work out nearly as well. But this one, getting that W's got to feel good. And
Right.
we were hyping him up beforehand, right? Like maybe one of the best players from Europe that people haven't really talked about very much. I'm really proud of him, and I really hope they can keep that up.
Well, a pat on the back, the virtual back anyway, from Frodan. Let's take a look at our lobby so far tonight. As you can see, it is going to be a couple players pretty high. Well, there we go. Well, let me just break it down for you. We do have Tien with 16 points on top of the lobby, Gunmay, MismatchedSocks, and Khroen all tied with 13 points apiece. 2 games remaining. Fluffy, though, getting a big boost with that win in game number 2. He is right back in the running as well. Karam, Agon, and ScottTheTeemo having a rough night. ScottTheTeemo a 7th and an 8th so far. So pretty unfortunate start for him. But hey, still 2 more games to go. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's increasingly unlikely that Scott will be able to climb back into the standings because he has played twice already and has, I believe, scored eighth in all of those lobbies so far, or in terms of the standings for the final night.
Yeah, it's
Um,
been he had a rough go of it in his other night as well, for sure.
yeah. And I do see a question in chat talking about like what are the overall standings, and we'll talk a little bit about that as it continues to evolve right now. But for certain players who are close to the top, players like Delicious Milk, for example, and Radiance, they're very close, if not guaranteed, to really make the finals. But
Mhm.
Tien has a lot of opportunities to make it as well. He's in a really good spot right.
Oh yeah, I believe he broke 40 now with that last score. We also have players like Raditz, who is not even playing tonight. That's already over 50 himself. So there are some players that are getting pretty high ranks. But the thing is if Tien keeps performing like this, he could theoretically finish. Well, he'd have to do really well to catch our leader in points overall, Delicious Milk. But he could get pretty close. He could get into the 50s tonight in overall
Yeah,
points.
I would say so as well. And I think that even though a few players might be in that danger zone of not really making the finals, it's going to still be really interesting to see how the rest of the lobby shape up because they could play the spoiler. And also, I
Yeah.
think like no player really wants to constantly, get out in seventh or eighth place. So I'm looking forward to lobby three.
Yep, me too. We're going to take a quick break, but before we do that, big shout out to Juked for sponsoring Giant Slayer series. Again, type exclamation point GSS in chat to find a page that has all the player point of views. Go and hang out with them during the break. Go and watch the games. If there's a player that's playing a style you really like, if you like Star Guardians, go watch Tien. He's been playing it nonstop tonight. So, a lot to look forward to in round number 3 and lobby number 3, guys. We'll see you back here in just a few minutes. We are back on Giant Slayer Series. DoA and Frodan here with you to guide you through these wonderful lobbies that we have been seeing tonight. And we've seen a lot of different stuff, I suppose. It's been a neat night where a couple different comps have shown up. We've seen Kale comp make an appearance. We just saw a Jinx comp, Rebels, win the last lobby, which is something that people definitely need to be taking seriously right now. It is a very strong comp. A lot of Star Guardians, but again, we did see Tien get two, or I meant to say lots of Dark Stars, but we did see Tien get Star Guardians to a top two lobbies in a row. So a lot of stuff seems pretty viable right now.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people have sort of like resigned themselves to just playing one kind of composition, but perhaps Fluffy and a few other players are going to show us viable builds. I do wonder how long Agon's going to commit to the Slash Bros.
I don't know
I
if
have never
I
been a big fan of it.
I agree. I was
Yeah,
never
yeah.
convinced by that comp, but I don't know. You see games where it just crushes everybody, and you're like, all right, this is it. This is the comp. I've learned it now. I know it, but I don't know, man. I think it is. I think it is just like I think Slash Bros right now is just spinning too many plates at once in TFT. It seems like where you have to like re-roll so well. You have to hit the right units. You have to find the perfect items. Your positioning is kind of tricky because you're grouping things together in a meta where sometimes you don't really want that, especially with Xerath making an appearance in the last patch. So it can be good, but I feel like it's got so many things going against it that yeah, I'd love to see him pivot in planning a little bit.
Yeah, so I think that we're going to be seeing perhaps Aegon switch his game plan just a little bit, or
Mhm.
perhaps he's stubborn as a mule and really wants to make it work.
We'll
And it's
see.
curious to me because when I saw Aegon stream, he was playing a lot of Dark Stars, but I think he's recognized that it's going to be very contested, especially Khroen shown that he's going to play it back-to-back games. ScottTheTeemo shows that he's willing to play it. Kurumx also willing to go for it. And it's causing some
Yeah.
swingy results, to say the least.
You know, another note with Agon really quick while we watch Fluffy get started, our winner of game number 2. Last week, Agon did play a mix of compositions. He played Mech Infiltrator 1 game, Brawler Blasters game 2, and then 2 games of Dark Stars. So he was kind of feeling things out a little bit. Now, he had some rough results last week. He did go 8th, 3rd, 8th, 4th. So it was a roller coaster, but he did find a little bit of success. So I am surprised that he's bringing only Slash Bros so far today. We'll see what he's got in mind. Fluffy, in the
Yes.
meantime, been playing really well, making it work with the Jinx comp, which is really cool to see.
I think the
And
Jinx
he,
comp is particularly interesting right now because
yeah,
I feel like it has such a high power level if it hits everything, but I feel like it requires really precise positioning, and I feel like I'm just not good enough at it, so I'd rather just play Dark Stars.
Dark Stars is a lot more forgiving, that's for sure. Yeah, they're kind of just all over the place. And if someone dies, hey, it just makes everyone else stronger, so who cares, right? But
Yes.
Fluffy last week, he played a couple games of Brawler Blaster, played 1 game of Dark Star, and then he did go Chrono Kale. And you know, we say Jinx build, but Kale is a big part of that as well, too. So it is something where you have multiple carries. And I think what helped him actually get the win last round is that he had basically 3 hard carries online in the Jinx, Kale, and the MF. And everything was doing work.
Right. And so now I think that people have really properly started seeing how strong misfortune is, especially
Mhm.
when people are clumping and you're playing things like the Star Guardians. Uh, you definitely have a lot of ways that you can punish those units for being too close together. He
Right.
does have a interesting start with the tier and the possibility of making a Guardian Angel. I wonder how Fluffy's going to choose to approach this. If he wants to continue to stay the course and play a Brawler Blaster builds, um, I just want to see how he does it, even though he has a pretty solid opening in a case for Star Guardians.
Yeah, he doesn't end up picking up the Zoe, but he does have 2 Star Guardians. You can kind of assume there's going to be another Zoe, but the big thing here is if you look at his bench, he does have, or I don't know, the item shelf, whatever you want to call it. He does have a GA and he has a tier. And if you have those items and you find the Ari, you're like, all right, I got a Nico, got the GA immediately. I got a Syndra, I've got the tier already. And although you definitely want a Seraphs and 3 tiers is ideal, you can make it work. You can top 4 Star Guardians on just a single tier. So he's got the perfect items for it, but it's something that you can obviously like wait a long time before you go to. You're not going to be committing to throwing out all your Star Guardians right now unless you're going for like an early Sork opening.
Right. I think the challenge is as Akon's going to just use the static shiv on the Zaya to absolutely wreck his board. The challenge
Mm-hmm.
is that I think Fluffy has a bigger game plan to consider, which is how is he going to climb the overall standings? This is his, he's making multiple appearances, and quite candidly, he did not perform nearly as high as the other players did.
Yeah.
So, he has to be playing, I guess, for more first places as opposed to top four. He's not in a position where he gets to play safer to try and get a top four spot.
Yeah, you raise a really good point actually, where if a player is kind of in the medium sort of levels of point standing, like Fluffy is, and he kind of found himself on the outside looking in of top fours a lot last week, except for one game. You do have to start maybe thinking about playing a little bit more risky, and like you said, going for a number one instead of just a top four. So while Star Guardians can certainly get you top four quite a bit, maybe you want to put your faith in something that you can first place with consistently, rather. So we're on board now with Agon. I've been talking about him a little bit. He does have the Zaya with the static shiv, which is kind of like the new hotness over the last like 4 or 5 days. People started doing this a lot more, and it is very strong early game. But you mentioned this earlier, Frodan, that it can be a little bit tricky to find out how to transition away from a build that's so committed to a static shiv early on.
Yeah, and I think that's because static shift tends to fall off late game.
Yeah.
It just feels like something that you just don't want to build. But at the same time, it's really good at preserving that HP and getting that snowballing early.
I
And I
wonder
think,
sometimes if transitioning into protectors is actually one of the best ways you can go because a static shift on Rakan, if you've got the other normal Rakan items like a Morello's, is not going to be that bad. So I wonder. I mean, protectors is a whole different conversation as to if that's even a strong comp right now or not. But I could kind of see it working semi smoothly there. But it's going to do a lot right now. That's for sure.
yeah, the static shiv looks really good. And if it wasn't for that Ari ability and the fact that there's sorcerer buff,
Yeah.
that Graves too was about to ruin Aegon's day,
Oh
stopping
yeah.
him from getting the 10th golden net win streak started.
All right. So first carousel time. Agon just taking a moment to do a bit of scouting, seeing what everyone else has. Saw a couple different starts out there, a little bit of rebels, a little bit of brawlers. See what he goes for here. Last pick, so he's kind of left with whatever everybody else doesn't want, which could be probably a belt and a bow in a lot of cases these days.
Yep.
Yep, that's his easy route portal, man.
Ooh,
Oh, the bow gets
he didn't
taken.
get it. He didn't get
Belt
it.
and a cloak.
Oh, and
Ripperino.
Tien emoting tried to distract him from, perhaps trying to enrage and provoke him.
Getting his head a little bit. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. So, obviously he can make his effort right now, but probably something you'd want to save for a trap claw, but he does drop the Zephyr right away. All right. So, I guess in a certain sense, if you do a lot of scouting, this is a way to keep that win streak going, right? Eliminate one of their champions from a fight early on for a while, get that early lead in terms of damage. So yeah, it's a win streaking tool at this point in the game, I suppose, if used properly. Gets the Lucian. That's not a bad first target for it. Poppy still swinging away. And I really like that he's got Star Guardians going here. The early Syndra actually helps quite a bit in terms of getting to do a lot of damage at the back lines. That Lucian normally would not be so low HP, but it's good enough. The static shift finishes it off. Not
Yep.
bad.
And, I'm sure Tien is upset now. He's no longer guaranteed top two because no one else is contesting his Star Guardians. Agon
Yep.
says, "You know what? I've already paid my taxes. I know that the deadline was extended to July, but the rebel slash bro tax has already been applied, and now he can finally start winning."
Yeah, he's like Goku, man, taking off the 500-pound like wristbands, right? He was just training earlier. He was just like using the grab. He was allowing himself to be dragged down by Slash Bros, but now he's freed himself to play the Chad Star Guardians composition. Really excel. 18 gold though. It's got a Shen he can probably sell here. If the win doesn't go through, I think he'd just sell the Shen regardless. Sell the Poppy as well. Yeah, he's already got a Poppy too. He doesn't need another one. Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, I think overall this is still very important. Like the most important thing for Agon is just for him to keep that win streak up, and he's doing a great job of it. So
Yeah, pretty much.
that's why I feel like. So I was kind of talking about this. I still don't know if Aegon's fully planning to commit to Star Guardians. I think that this could also be a transition piece, and it was something that I was kind of talking about with our practice group. Though, is that I think that Star Guardians are also good at just win streaking early if you can get off to a good start and have things like Poppy 2 and you have like some pretty decent items.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I mean, as you can see, Star Guardian and having that early Sork buff with a strong front line like a Poppy 2 can get you some wins. And you can even extend that into round 3 if you go for 4 sorcerers. And Poppy 2, oftentimes Poppy 2 is strong enough to let your
Yep.
4 Sorks do enough work. Gets a little bit more of a shield from the buff. So yeah, it works pretty well.
Yeah, and there was another build that was being played at challenger level by a player named Dansky, where he was trying to capitalize on the 4 sorcerer buff
Mhm.
more than the fact that it was Star Guardians, or rather going to 6 sorcerers. So what he would do
Yeah,
was go to level 8 or 9, try to get really high impact units like Gangplank, and give him the 6 sorcerer buff. And then just like outfit him with Guardian Angel and Ionic Spark, etc. Like give him the Nico items and just play
yeah.
3-star Guardians instead of 6.
I
Sorry.
think that's super legit, actually, and we've seen other 6 sorcerer builds excel in the past. Like Mech Sorcerer would have been talked about a lot more if Mech Infiltrator hadn't been sort of like the dominant mech build and taken all the mechs away from the mech Sorc players that wanted to use it. They already had Star Guardians; they didn't need it. But now that that's going away, Mech Sorc did a similar thing where it capitalized on the power of 6 sorcerer to really, really power up that mech damage. But like you said, you can do it with other units like a GP as well and run, like a GP as a demolitionist. You can, with the Star Guardians, you can run it with a couple vanguards initially to just create some sort of front line. But I do think 6 Sorcerer is a synergy that has not been explored as much as it should be in terms of pairing that with other combinations,
Hmm.
like a Darius. Just throw a
Totally.
Darius 3 in there with 6 Sork, man. He will be deleting teams like nobody's business.
Oh yeah, and you'll see that bronze 2 to bronze 1 promotion right
Oh,
away.
dude, you're good to at least plat with Darius. I'm gonna prove it.
I'm sure
I'm
you
I'm
could
almost gold
prove to
already
me
with that account.
almost build. I'm sure you could prove to me any build could get the
you
plat.
can you can climb to you can climb to plat and probably even diamond with like literally anything if your fundamentals are good.
I agree.
Yeah.
Speaking of the fundamentals, Khroen's got some really solid fundamentals, and looks like he is going for the classic mech infiltrator build. He's got the Bramble Vest and the Seraphs, and so while he did do pretty well with the Dark Stars, or pretty solidly rather, Khroen's going to try to find a way to use mech infiltrator, which hasn't been really contested very much.
Yeah, why not? We haven't seen it in 2 games. So go for it. You know, unless delicious milk is in your lobby, it's usually wide open.
Yeah, and I think that I mean, Delicious Milk might be playing Star Guardians and then forcing everyone to either play it or suffer with him.
There you go.
But yeah, alas, I think that Mech Infiltrator is surprisingly like underrepresented for how powerful it is. I think that most people look at Darkstar and obviously it's a great composition. No one should ignore its power level.
Mhm.
But sometimes you just got to play the good old stuff. And it makes me feel a little weird that Mech Infiltrator goes so uncontested and no one in my lobbies plays it. And I just think, wow, I think I should just have played Mech Infiltrator.
It's one of those builds that I think is hurt more by being contested by 2 people than some other builds, right? Where like if you play Star Guardians, if you play Dark Star, there can be like 2 or 3 people and you can still do okay. But if there's one other mech infiltrator player, suddenly you're not going to hit Kaisa 3, you're not going to hit Shaco 3. And that, although the mech is a big part of it, oh, he gets some Morellos. Although the mech is a big part of things, you still need, I think, like the Shaco 3 and the Kaisa 3 to really like win with that build. So I think it's just more vulnerable to contesting because you need the 3 stars.
Such amazing items on this carousel. An
Seriously.
Infinity Edge, a Bramble Vest, a Morello, a Ceres, a Guardian Angel, a Red Buff.
There's still a Hand of Justice just sitting there, not taken. Not the most popular item right now, but still. It's going to be a death cap, untaken. Wow. That's not the Kaisa. All right.
Yeah, it's the Kaisa, and I think Khroen has to level to 6 here. Unless he wants to roll on 5, I'd be kind of surprised. Okay. Yeah, because the competition wants to.
Oh, I was gonna say, are you a little bit surprised he slammed the Ionic Spark on the Kaisa? I can see why, but
necessarily. I think the Ionic Spark is a really underrated unit on item on Kaisa because she's one of your main damage dealers. If you get her to 3-star, especially if you're gonna be playing Morello. I think the only surprising thing is like, should he wait for a spatula possibility to get the demolition spat? But I think that if you look at the state of health, Khroen's at 50 HP, and I don't think he can wait that long. I think he's gonna have to not rely on that.
That's a good point. I guess the point was kind of proven too, where Ashe killed herself by casting her own ultimate in that fight.
Right.
It was low enough from everything else that the damage from the Ionic Spark killed her immediately when she did the arrow. So there is that little finishing damage that the Ionic Spark gives you. So I'm a little bit surprised, but I like it.
Yeah, I think you gotta start preserving HP. That's something that mech infiltrated players, I think, were not very as keyed upon when people who were like playing it at lower levels, which is that they were like willing to lose too much health. And now that we're in a patch where damage has ramped up a lot in the early game, you gotta find a way to catch the knife.
Pretty much. All right, let's watch that Kais on the back line again. Yeah, does a lot of damage. Kills the carry. That Graves 2, who is holding items for Aurelia, gets eliminated pretty quickly. And it looks like Khroen might be able to put a little win streak together here.
Yeah, I think he's turned the corner at just the right time, so that way he's not at critical life. When you're in the 30s, it feels like you're not able to win the lobby anymore, barring like an extremely high roll or series of high roll events.
I mean, to be fair, we did see Delicious Milk get down to like sub 40 health sometimes and still come back and win with Mech Infiltrator. So it kind of just depends. His lowest, apparently, as our producer tells us, was 11 HP to come back and win the lobby from. So Mech Infiltrator can do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it totally can. But that was a different patch where it felt like you had the power spike to do it. It's less reliable now. He finds a Quicksilver completed item. Well, not completed item, but he can complete the Quicksilver, and that is fantastic.
Looking for a Jin. There's the Fizz. Oh, he found the Fizz. He has the Annie in there already, but yeah, immediately selling all that stuff you don't need. Toss in the mech. Get the Bramble Vest on it. QSS. He is good to go, man. Now just looking for that Rumble too.
Fun fact, there is a button that helps send units to the board, and that's what Khroen was using. Look at him. Maximizes APM. That's fun.
Interesting. I never use that button.
I use it so infrequently that I don't even know what it is. I just know that
I have no idea either.
I think it's W. No,
I didn't even know that button existed.
Yeah, I think it's W because E is to sell, and Q and R are supposed to rotate your screens.
Look at this Darius. MismatchedSocks. We got the fully loaded Darius. I was listening to what you were saying about the keyboard, but I was distracted by the Darius. I can't help it. I'm not ashamed.
If you want, I could put a good word for him.
Dude, he's going for the 4 Vanguard Mana Reaver Chronos Space Pirate. Then that is the optimal way to do the reset Darius right now in the mid game. He's got it going on. We're gonna go take a look at it. Actually, I love it. So weirdly enough, I've actually been playing and experimenting with this quite a bit. I put in like a solid afternoon of only playing this kind of stuff. and just playing around with Darius and see what you can do. And the 4 Vanguard way is a very strong mid game. I don't know if it is the strongest mid game. I actually liked it a little bit better with 2 Celestial instead of 4 Vanguard. But this is a one way to do it, so you have a tanky front line. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like this is just itemizing Darius instead of Jace. I think a lot of the 4 Vanguards would used to play Jace as like the main damage dealer with the 4 Vanguards and play like blasters in the back with like Graves plus someone else like Ezreal or something, or Lucian.
He's clearly not doing this late game, but like it's still a strong mid game because of how many. If Darius does get that reset chain going, he can just take out entire teams. Oh, 2 Ashes on the bench, but no room. That's a bit awkward. Gonna go ahead and swap the snipers in right now.
Yep, and all is right.
Yep, you can give
the
up
world, so to speak, because MismatchedSocks was one of the biggest proponents of Darkstars early. And now that Darkstars is popular, people don't really know that it was like Socks helped innovating that build in the first place.
Decides to go for Darkstar rather than Sniper too. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Come on and slam. And welcome to Darius's jam.
It makes so much sense too that he can hold the items that you want to give to Shaco as well.
Yep, he does benefit from a lot of that stuff. The Hex tech is actually great because he heals with every reset.
Totally.
And he heals for a lot too. It's so funny.
Well, I mean, Darius is a very respectable 2-star unit early in the game.
Yeah, especially after they buffed him in the last patch. They gave him like 100 more HP or something like that, I think. They did buff his HP recently, which helped him kind of jump over the edge of being an okay 2-star unit to like a genuinely good 2-star unit. And because you know he's going to be getting a lot of kills, you also make like a lot of gold off of Space Pirate with a Jason there too.
Yeah, that's true. You do get that gold, and maybe that's what's convinced him to go for this Leona. Wow, 2 gens in the shop. Are you kidding me?
That is crazy lucky for MismatchedSocks. He is his socks may be mismatched, but he has found the match in Jins real fast.
He's at level 7 and he found 2 gens in the shop. One of the most contested units when you're going for Dark Stars. Oh my goodness gracious.
Sometimes the TFT gods just want you to succeed, you know? What can you say? So he leaves the Darius in there for now, but you can see shifting over to the Dark Star emphasis. Probably going to do a little bit more of that once he finds another 2-star or 2. Maybe looking for the Ash, but yeah, Star Guardians will eat this for lunch a lot of cases, especially with the double Seraphs on the Cinder in the back there.
And remember, Tien got one of those Seraphs off the carousel. He's at 28 HP, though, which makes me think that Tien may struggle to land the top 2 this game, but he's going to try to make that comeback effort.
Yeah, sometimes if you try to just force Star Guardians these days, you take a lot of damage. He may not have... I wonder if he didn't find all 6 or something. That was a little bit odd. Let me double check. I'm curious.
Yeah, one thing that is interesting is that I believe, if I'm not mistaken, MismatchedSocks has the capability to go to 6 Darkstar. Am I wrong on that? He has Shaco and he has Jarvan, and yet he's chosen not to.
Yeah, he has a Lux in there as well. Yep. He certainly can, but I think it's because he would have to be putting in so many 1-stars that he doesn't feel strong. But maybe now that the win streak is over, this is when you do it.
Right. Well, I mean, it was kind of a wish. It was two wins.
Yeah.
So he does have Shaco. He doesn't have Lux and Jarvan. That is particularly surprising. I've seen people just like immediately when they get 6 Darkstar, they just like go for it.
Right.
And it's not like he has the pirate synergy either. So I'm particularly curious about this, and I'm sure. I mean, Socks is not a scrub, so like him, he totally has reasons behind it. I'm not sure exactly, and you can even look at his chat.
Yeah, his chat's
like
even
asking about the same exact thing. Like, we lost a lot of HP for that, and we didn't like win streak.
I mean,
what's going on?
I love me some Darius resets, but you have to admit at some point that Shaco is going to be doing a lot more work with those items, but he's selling his extra Shacos.
Yeah, he's going to 8.
Going to 8. Ah, right. Okay.
All right, trying to find.
Yeah, so adding Mana Reaver in there again. Mana Reaver could be Celestial as well. Finds the Lux 2. There's the Ash 2. You can definitely buy that. So he's trying to go. Maybe he's really. I mean, I don't know. I was like, maybe he wants to really put a Dark Star spat on Darius, but no, it's too late. Yeah, there we go. Right. Now you change it over. All right.
So now you can give the Hex Tech and most likely the GA. He does have a Trap.
It's got to be the GA, right?
Yeah, because then you can give Trap. You can give Trap Claw to the Jhin. I believe that's what he wants to do. Oh, yikes. Oh, this did not pan out well.
Well, Shaco's doing work. It's a tale of two Shacos again, and that Lux actually got a nice stun in, but I think his Shaco has not had the GA popped yet. So Lux gonna give him just enough CC to possibly survive it. Maybe Shaco off. Oh, pops a GA. Okay.
Wait, but he doesn't kill because the Bramble Vest.
Yep. That's it, man. That Bramble Vest doing work.
Yeah, that's right. Deny the crit.
I like it.
Bramble Vest. That is so brilliant. Socks is laughing, and everyone's like, what the heck? That was so smart.
You know, sometimes this is what makes a top player, man. It's like, how do I win the Shaco 1v1s? I negate the enemy Shaco's ability to crit because he will crit every time with his ability otherwise.
That is so meta. I like it a lot.
On board with Tien now, who finally did find some good items with his Nico. His Nico was suffering for a while, only had the QSS. Oh no, he was looking at somebody else's Star Guardian board that was a lot better. His board is still bad. That Nico needs a GA. You can see the Nico just got deleted, and then the robot just walks in and kills everyone. So that's the story of why if you don't have a GA for your Nico, you're just gonna lose.
Yeah, it looks like Tien didn't line up. Also worth noting, by the way, that Khroen placed an Infinity Edge onto his mech, and Infinity Edge is not a bad choice. People might be like thinking, don't you want to put defensive items on mechs? And you are correct, but don't forget that the inherent ability of the mech is it also cleaves with each attack. So each attack can cleave a crit hit and will do massive AoE damage. For that reason, also, I've seen people place red buff onto the mech when they have like a third item that they can't find, and so they're like, oh, I just grab something off the carousel, and they just like place it, and it surprisingly did a lot of work. So I was very surprised by that.
Guardians board on the other side. That is pretty peak Star Guardians.
Oh gosh, the Synders are using each other's orbs. There's so many orbs on both sides.
What?
How many orbs was that?
That is the power of double Seraph Cinder right there. You just got more ults. That's all it came down to is more ults. And should those Cinders be using each other's orbs? I don't know about that, but they do, and that's what happens.
By the way, I just read that he accidentally placed Bramble onto Shaco, but it ended up being such a next level play. Yeah, he wanted to place the Frozen Heart instead, which makes a lot of sense since Frozen Heart on Infiltrator is a fantastic place. A lot of people place on Echo, for example. But that's so funny. That's hilarious to me. Wow, super funny.
I've seen people put Bramble on Shaco unironically before, so I was like, all right, yeah, I mean, it looked like a possible big brain move, but it was just not in the way we thought it was, How mad do you think that other Star Guardians player is, though? Who is that? I can't quite see whose board that is, but I would be mad if my items look that much better and this dude is just like rocking me with his double Seraphs.
Yeah, ScottTheTeemo, I believe Agon was leaning towards Star Guardians as well. So if that was the case, then it looks like the 3 Star Guardian players would be eliminated.
Yeah, that's who it is. So if you look at these items, so it's Seraph's Chalice, Trap Claw, and Chalice is really good right now. It's I would say it's almost as good as a second Seraph. A lot of people choosing this instead of 2 Seraphs now, but not good enough with the other one. Interesting.
Oh no, the Trap Claw. Syndra ulted the Jhin, or the Xerath rather, with Trap Claw, which all the Thieves' Gloves, which stunned him for 4 seconds, and he couldn't get the kills. Scott might be dead here. He is dead.
Oh, that's rough. Huh, that's really interesting.
I swear.
Okay, I'm gonna have to think more about these items now. So ScottTheTeemo is out. Another really rough start for him, down in 7th, I believe it was. Back with Tien now, his items are looking much better, and he does have the 6th Sorcerer, which is another reason that I failed to mention why he was in a better place, because he just was simply doing more damage with everything. That makes a lot of sense. Now that I noticed that.
Waiting for this moment for so long throughout this entire game. He's waited till the
there it
end of
is.
stage 5, saved up over 50 gold to roll down for the moment Scott would die, and now that Scott's dead, he has hit Syndra 3. This is fantastic one-tricking being displayed here by Tien, because a lot of people, they don't have that restraint, but Tien has bided his time and now paid off in huge dividends.
Oh, Aurelia, though.
Never mind.
No.
Aurelia destroying everything with the optimal itemization. Tien is on his last life now, too.
Yep. Oh, it's so tough against these Aurelia boards because she'll take like a little bit of damage early on, and that keeps Syndra from targeting her until it's too late. Because Syndra will always target the character with the most and the highest health percentage, a Trap Claw.
That is so painful. That is so painful because he would want to have 2 Seraphs and a Trap Claw on Syndra. That is widely agreed upon to be the best build on Syndra, and he instead is a Quicksilver. He has 2 Quicksilvers. Neither of them are really what they're optimal, but I mean, I guess Tien may do. You might ask, like, why is the situation? But I would say that if he didn't make things like Quicksilver, there's a possibility he wouldn't even survive to this point where he could roll for Syndra.
Oh yeah, I mean, a Quicksilver isn't bad. It's certainly better than nothing on Syndra. Trap Claw is ideal, but I don't think you're disappointed with the Seraphs in too many games. But he can put this Trap Claw onto Vel'Koz now. He can put it onto Nico as well, which adds more of a front line for him. The other big thing he's looking for is Nico 3, but it seems unlikely he's going to find it this game. Although he's only 2 away. Maybe he can, actually.
It's 6 out of 15 gold, and he needs... If he rolls 3 times... I think it's 3 times max, right? 4 times max, perhaps?
Yeah, it's 4 times my math is not that good.
Yeah, because 4 is 8 gold, 8 plus 6 is 14. That's
whatever you say.
Optimistic. It's very optimistic at 35% a roll. I don't think so.
That Vel'Koz just is not hitting anything in the back lines, though. But luckily, Syndra one-shots everything, so it's okay.
Yes.
Oh. All right.
Oh, no.
Maybe not.
It's too late.
The Jhin lived a little bit too long. Yeah. The GA kept him back up again, and then he'll come back with not enough health for Syndra to target.
Yeah, a valiant effort, but you know what? I think Tien played that excellently given the circumstances, how contested some of his units were. Meanwhile, what's in the top 5? Darkstar, Mech Infiltrator, Cybernetics with really powerful Irelia stuff.
So, right. Fluffy with the Darkstar build.
Fluffy with the GA on Jhin. Socks must be pissed.
Well, GA on Jhin and the GA on Shaco as well, so...
That's true.
It's going to be very difficult.
Shaco.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult to get rid of some of these carries here. But pretty nice Mech Infiltrator build. No demo spat on Kaisa. That's a big problem, but he's got a couple 3 stars, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. That's Xerath in the back lines.
Jeez. Just look at the Jhin. Every time he took a shot, he killed a unit. He killed a 3-star Kaisa in one shot, killed a 3-star Rumble in one shot. That is silly. And all he has is 1 Infinity Edge. It's not like he has Last Whisper and Runons, which are like the more important items to have.
I mean, a lot of people are saying now with Darkstar builds, like, you don't even necessarily need to itemize Jhin at all. That he just does enough damage just hanging out. But if you get the items for him, if you get the IE and you get the GA, a second one, why not? He'll do even more. But yeah, Jhin just does so much damage natively.
Yeah, Jhin is like one of those rich kids that just always had it all. It pisses me off.
Dude, this is so strong. He gets Mana Reaver, he gets Celestial.
Oh, interesting. Placing it next to the Karma, I don't think it should change it. I think it's still buff. Oh, no, sorry. I mixed up Karma and Xerath.
Sure.
But overall, positioning it in to try and target the top right corner, really good decision for the early part of the battle, but does it win him the fight?
Oh, that Lulu, though, on the other side.
Woo!
Almost did the work, but Shaco is here.
Oh, looks!
Oh, no, Shaco v Shaco.
Okay, so it really comes down a lot of times to like Lux getting that final stun onto the Shaco.
Seems that way, yeah. So maybe Lux positioning is one of the things you have to pay attention to the most in Darkstar versus Darkstar. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
And we're gonna see that Darkstar showdown featuring a Gunmay who's
Who
happy to
is
be there.
who is the darkest star?
Who is the darkest of all the stars? I
That's right.
actually would think if I'm Fluffy to take the to also consider taking Ludens or Chalice. I think getting the ability off early might be super impactful to help determine the outcome of this game. In this case, for example, if you place it on Thresh, maybe it pulls Lulu and helps Lulu totally polymorph like their Shaco and wreck their plans.
Hmm.
It's arguable though. Like I've seen a lot of people debate about like how they want to itemize late game. And I think that's part of the fun
Yeah.
of TFT, which is arguing with your friends and calling them idiots for not thinking that you are completely right in your opinion.
Well, there's so many like decisions to make around that, and Mismatched Socks on the other side has a Lulu, so he's got Mystic Celestial instead of Mana Reaver Celestial because of no Cassidon. And
Oh my
we saw that Lulu all do serious work here, but will it do work enough here? Lulu's about to cast Echo. Oh, she casted right before she got killed by the Echo and Sheep the Aurelia just in time.
But on the other
Meanwhile,
side, Socks looks like he's going to drop to the Shaco here, or rather the Gunmay.
Ghost.
Or perhaps I'm mistaken because
No, it is
Shaco
Gunmay.
is silly strong.
Oh, he's just hanging out. That dude, the disarm nearly
Like, what
did
is
it.
happening? Oh, the Bramble Vest. I don't even understand anymore. That was such a weird battle.
Well, there was a sword breaker messing things up. There's a bramble vest. Like, yeah, there was a lot of stuff contributing to Shaco taking a long time, but he did eventually kill it all, as Shaco does.
Two Dark Stars finds a locket off of the Thieves Gloves. In fact, he has Locket Zerot portal, which I wonder how he can utilize it.
Giant Slayer and Red Buff on the Shaco out of Thieves Gloves, or not the Shaco, on the Zareth out of the Thieves Gloves or mismatched socks as well on the other side. So,
oh no, did the Karma buff the Thresh?
Yes, she
Oh
did. No, she buffed the Jin.
No. It looked like for half a second that my position might have done it, but it looks like Fluffy got fortunate there.
Yeah. I'm just watching the shake on the back line. I kind of got deleted.
Yeah, the Shaco did not last, and that is a lot of
not
damage
close
coming
at
in. Not
all.
enough.
Huh. So that was the Zareth chewing through a lot of HP with the Giant Slayer and the red buff out of the Thieves Gloves.
Yeah. You know, I gotta say, I think the Locket baited Fluffy. I think a lot of times you think, oh, I really want Locket value, but one, that Zareth is at 1 star. So it's not even like the Locket gives the ideal amount of shields. And then second, you kind of move everything out of position. And as you clearly saw, it kind of set him up really poorly.
Yeah, for sure. Rage Blade.
In addition, I think that this Bramble Vest, it just lines up so well into the other Shaco. It's just kind of hilarious to me.
Totally. Mismatched Socks. 1 win away from winning lobby number 3 tonight. It's looking pretty strong for him. Gets the Shojins for Lulu as well. That's
yeah. His Lulu is probably like hidden MVP. Also, I would probably want to consider if he finds a way to remake Karma to give that Frozen Heart to Lulu just to make her ult even quicker. He wants to protect his units. He'll do anything at all costs to mute that Shaco and polymorph it.
Yeah, well, Shaco's going to jump right in range of the Lulu. She's 1 cast away. Let's keep your eye on the Lulu. Gets the ultimate off. Shaco GA gets popped. Yep. Jin gets hit as well, and he's just going to chew through the rest of this team, it seems like.
Yeah.
Another Lulu ult, actually. So we got 2 of them off during that fight, and that's an easy win for Mismatched Socks. I guess I'm liking the Lulu in there a little bit more than the Cassidon.
Totally. Really well done by Mismatched Socks. A build that's near and dear to his heart. Very quickly typing in that 1 into his most recent match history on a stream overlay because that was a good one. And I think that if you want to study the highest level of Darkstar play, I would definitely consider Mismatched Socks to be one of the candidates that you want to evaluate to get to the next level.
And he's had a great night so far. He had a 3rd place, a 4th place, and now a 1st place. So it's been a really, really good night for him. He's a current points leader as well. We've got Fluffy and Gunmay close behind at 20 points, but hey, it's gonna be a lobby where a lot of stuff can get shaken out. The only people really out of the running right now are ScottTheTeemo, Khroen, and Agon.
Yeah. So MismatchedSocks with that win, I wonder how far that puts them up into the standings. We're going to be updating it for you in just a sec, but I believe he was pushing the top, and TN taking a sixth place hurts a lot because it looked like he was in a pretty good spot to finish in the top. But I mean, if he takes another bad loss like that, he might drop entirely.
Yeah, it might be a little bit rough for him. Let's take a look at the results here overall. As we mentioned a little bit earlier, Tien now at 45 points overall on the night at 19, 2 second places, and then dropping all the way down to a sixth for that. So he can still come back and do quite, or if he comes back and do quite well, his point score will be looking just fine at the end of the night. I would say if you can end a night with over 20 points, that's probably a pretty good night.
Right. Meanwhile, MismatchedSocks top four in all three games shows separation from the pack. And as you mentioned, Agon, Kurumx, and Scott also separating themselves from the pack, but perhaps not in the way they want to. Two fast eighths for Agon. It's got to be rough. I consider Agon to be a very good player, and it seems like he hasn't been doing well in the Giant Slayer series, excuse me. And I wonder if that's perhaps the strategy came in going to tournament, or perhaps he's just running real cold.
I mean, I was in his stream earlier today, and I wished him luck, so that might have cursed him. I apologize.
That explains
should not have
everything.
have
How
done
could
that.
you?
It was not intentional. I just, when I think the caster curse is done, it pops up in the strangest ways. So there you go. Sad time. Sorry, Agon. I believe in you.
Not cool. Really,
I believe in you for game 4. Or actually, no, I should say the opposite. I don't believe in you at all.
Yeah. Hey, DoA, can you do me a favor? When I'm playing, I'll let you know, and then you go into all 7 of my opponents' chats and let them know.
Tell them how good they are. Wish them the best of luck.
Good luck.
I can do that. I've got the time. Yeah.
Fantastic.
I'll get that. Yeah. All right. So I'm not sure if we're taking a break, if we're going right into the next game yet. Figuring that out. We are going right into the next game. Okay, good. Good. No breaks. But it does give me a chance to tell you again, not you, Frodan, you know this already, but maybe people in chat don't, that if they type !GSS in chat, they can get to the jukes.gg landing page for the Giant Slayer series, where they can find all of the information that they could ever require about the tournament and find all the player point of views. If you want to go watch MismatchedSocks for the next game, you can just go do that. He's streaming right now. You can see the whole game from his view. I mean, we're okay, but we're not as good as he is, and we're more handsome, maybe. I don't know. What do we have that he has?
You have everything, DoA. What do you offer a man that already has everything?
A space station. That's what.
Yes, that's right. You offer them a free reroll. That's what you do. Here we are in the trade sector, one of the new galaxies from the 10.8 patch, which I'm glad that we got to see. As you can see, the joke is win trade sector, which is partially because people joke about win trading all the time, which is not really funny because that is a very serious offense. Please don't ever do that.
Wow,
if you do that, you
bring it back to reality.
Yeah, you are a disgrace. However, it's the idea that trade sector is so aggressive because you're re-rolling every single turn, no matter what. And if you aren't, you're losing percentages on your play.
Yeah, everybody else is. So things like Slash Bros, Protectors, you can see a little bit more often sometimes in this lobby.
Right. But in reroll, we call this the reroll galaxy, just for shorthanded. And in trade sector, you often want to go for compositions that rely on 3 stars to win. This is a galaxy that you could consider playing things like Star Guardians and Mech Infiltrator and Rebel Slash Bros.
See how contested you are,
Yeah, totally. I mean, maybe this is... I've also seen people play Cybernetics, and when they start getting to 8 after their win streaking, they actually roll fairly aggressively. And maybe even try to get to 3-star like Irelia or Kale, because that is their win condition. And I've seen them hit it somewhat reliably in a reroll galaxy. Because one thing that I think people may not understand when they're like first learning how to play this galaxy is that you're incentivized to buy the shop every single time, as long as you don't 2-star anything that'll cost you gold.
Right.
Because if you 2-star a 1-cost unit, like say for example, MismatchedSocks 2-stars is Jarvan, it's going to cost 3 gold, which is how much he spent making it. So he gets it back at full refund cost. However, at tier 2 and above, so if you 2-star say Mordekaiser, you only get 4 gold for selling it back versus the 6 it costs to make. So you have to be very careful with making 2-star units. But if you're not, you can buy every tier 4 in the shop, get a free reroll, and increase your chances ever so slightly to find the exact 4 cost you want. And you just multiply that across every single turn that you have. And I've seen people reliably hit 3-star tier 4 units when it's uncontested in this galaxy.
Yep, pretty much. Opportunity to pick up the Xayah 2, which is become a very, very strong unit in the early game. Goes for the Celestial and the Protector bonus. That's already a really strong board early. Look at that, a 2-star Jarvan and a 2-star Xayah.
Is he doing it?
Down there?
Is he going to do the Celestial Protector reroll? I don't know. I don't know if it's good. I haven't seen a single Protector game on 10.8 in my lobbies that landed top 4. Granted, I'm not the highest elo. Yeah, I have not. No one's been trying it. No one's been successful with it that did try it.
I've seen it a lot lately. We had a Protectors player actually win one of the games on Saturday even. So it's I think especially on this galaxy, you have a better chance of making it work than some other ones. But yeah, it's definitely weak. It's definitely weaker than a lot of the other builds. But I think if no one is contesting you, and if you hit all the right items for like your Xin Zhao, you can definitely do pretty well with it.
Oh, I'm totally willing to be correct.
Oh, he's going for it.
From my experience, I haven't seen anybody do it.
Yeah,
I haven't seen anyone do it like remotely successfully.
Oh,
he declared it in the chat. It's official. Me Protectors.
But did he say no pivot?
No scout, no pivot. I mean, he's
that's...
already pivoting.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Protector.
You can pivot if you don't say no pivot. There's different levels of commitment, you know.
I agree. And like I said, it's just the lobbies that I've played, and admittedly, since I've been very busy with other stuff, I haven't actually been able to play as many as I've been able to watch. I have seen in match histories of challenger lobbies, especially in Korea, that they do favor protectors. So I'm very open to the idea that protectors are good if you are able to situationally play them. I just haven't seen them have success myself.
I will say this, at least. I think protectors are better than Slash Bros.
Okay.
I think
Why
it is. I think it's more consistent. I think Slash Bros requires for 2 reasons. I think Slash Bros requires more specific items to work perfectly, which is what you needed to do to win lobbies. And I think the way that Slash Bros makes you position your units to benefit from the Rebels trait limits your ability to position in the late game in a way that's ideal. So I think I just think overall, I think they're both not great, but I think if I had to pick one of the two, I would probably pick Protector Celestial, or Protector Mystic rather, as a stronger build.
Sure.
That's not the trendy thing to say right now, but I think
it really is.
Like time will tell.
But I respect that you're sticking by it, DoA.
I will for now. I might pivot later. We'll see.
Don't pivot. Don't scout. Don't.
I didn't say no pivot. I reserve the right to pivot.
Don't scout what other people are doing.
Now I need to
stay the course.
Now I need to make an account and get to diamond with only protectors.
Nico with a vest,
which you could totally do, because it's only diamond.
Oh no, Khroen. Khroen's circling around. What does he want? Does he want the sword?
Indecisiveness. Oh, that's so rough when you get to pick early. Just pick the sword, man. It's good. I don't know what he's got though.
Yeah,
I feel like you have to pick the sword.
Khroen did the thing where he went the farthest way or the longest way possible to get to that vest if he wanted it, but it's okay. Yeah. Sword's still usually really good.
I'm gonna look at his board and see what he's got right now. Let's see. By going to the Juked landing page and opening up his stream, that was easy to find. He has a Vanguard Space Pirate right now, and we'll go ahead and swap over to him to see what he's working on.
Yeah,
so there you go.
He's got a very solid cybernetics potential here. Finds that Lucian.
He
And the thing
does.
about reroll galaxies, which is just also kind of nuts, that like everybody is powerful. Look at his board, right? Khroen has 2-star Graves, 2-star Leona, 2-star Fiora, with a Jace that has a rod, and he's on a full losing streak. What is this galaxy sometimes, huh?
Yeah, and basically you just kind of assume that everybody has all 2 stars at this point in
Right.
this
That's like
galaxy.
the wild thing. You feel like, oh, I mean, like quite candidly, he can't get that much stronger. Are you gonna ask him to 2-star Jace?
Right.
Finally, looks like he's gonna win this fight because he has the Infinity Edge on the Lucian. But I mean, it's still close.
Ooh, way too close.
Oh,
Wow.
okay.
Barely won it with like the last shot, but
Jeez.
yeah, that was red buff versus Lucian versus Infinity Ed Lucian.
Hey.
But there we go, Lucian 2.
All
You asked
right.
what he could do. There you go.
Yes.
So do you go for
2-star.
like, so there's a Vi. I wonder, he's gotta save up. He likes to play wide, but I think he needs some economy going now.
That's the thing about this. I think Shen 2 is super good, and I would probably consider keeping on the bench here. But at the same time, you do want to make Pirate Gold. I don't know. It's so close. I think I'm gonna hold. I'm gonna chill. We hit Lucian 2. That's really powerful. One of the best
Right.
2-cost units you can make with Infinity Edge, if not the best.
Waiting to see if he needs to sell. Looks like he's got a pretty good chance of winning this.
Oh yeah, he's gonna crush.
Yeah, TF Salt didn't really do much damage. So yeah, he's going to hit that 10 gold. Doesn't need to sell the Poppy or the Malphite. Might do it anyway. Just pick up the Mordekaiser. Yeah, that's
He already has
logical.
Jace and Leona, so you can go for 4 Vanguard Cybernetics.
Yep.
That is a very common transition that you can go for Cybernetics.
Oh, but there's a Darius. I'm sure he's going to sell it.
Yeah, so I think we're chilling. We definitely want to hold on to that vibe because it's a pretty powerful tool to build into other builds for Cybernetics, especially if you want to go Kale.
Right. All right. See what everybody gets from the Terror Bursters.
I like that you call it by their proper names.
I try.
Krugs. I call it Krugs every time.
Like Khroen and I were talking about this actually on Saturday on the cast, and I've decided that like on a cast I'll call it by the proper name, Terror Bursters. But if I'm just like talking TFT with somebody else that knows a lot about the game, then you just say Krugs and Wolves and stuff like that. Because everybody
a lot
knows
about your character, what you talk about in private.
That's called professionalism.
I mean, you call them Krugs behind their back. That's not cool.
Yeah, because in the grand scheme of things, they're Krugs. But in this particular set, they're Terror Bursters.
I won't tell them you said that.
Go ahead. I'm not afraid. What are they gonna do? Split into more
they will
versions
deny you
and
the items.
overwhelm me with their superior numbers? I don't think so. I'm an army of one, Frodan.
Do you think there's any one unit that can solo Krugs? I don't think so.
No, nobody.
Yeah. Nobody can
Except
solo
for me.
I'm
a one-man unit.
Put him in versus Krugs. That's why I lost to Krugs earlier today.
That's right.
DoA in my comp.
Some people think you need level 5. No, you just need me.
Jeez. I'm kind of surprised that Crow's not picking up this double casted in here.
Yeah.
He has the gold to afford it, which is why. Oh, because he wants to make gold. That's
okay. Yeah, once hit 30. See, just when we get conditioned. It's like a Pavlovian response, right? Like Khroen conditions us to just expect him to play really wide, and then he like sells up to 30, and you're like, whoa. Where did Khroen go? Who's this person who's replaced him?
That's right.
Khroen's body double, purely interested in economy.
Yeah, it's Stefan.
Stefan Urkel.
Yeah.
As opposed to see as I see. So that's
it's Krafan.
So you're saying the cooler version of Khroen goes for economy over playing wide for comp possibilities.
I would say the cooler version goes for the swag. They would have picked up the Caston and knew that he would have picked up this third Caston. We can use results oriented thinking.
All right. I'll accept it. Nobody knows who Stefan Urkel is anymore, though.
Yeah, gosh, we are way too old for the average demographic. A lot of these TFT players that we're featuring are like, some of them are teenagers still.
They probably did not watch Family Matters growing up like we did.
Yes.
Khroen wins it.
Yes.
Our producer understands us. That's all that's important.
I appreciate that.
That's all that matters. Lucian's like, did I do that? Which, if you're not familiar with Full House, is a popular line.
Oh gosh.
We need to have that voice line in now. Some champion
Yeah.
needs to say that.
Oh, that's hilarious. When you like use the ability on the wrong unit and your unit.
That's right. When
Did I do that?
when Aurelia is got 99% HP and charges your Syndra, but she shoots the the full health Karma in the back line. Syndra's like, did I do that?
That's awful. All right.
Yeah.
Well, focusing back in on relevant
you
21st century entertainment content.
cut it out.
Khroen keeping his win streak, and I do wonder, based off his bench, if he wants to lean more towards things like a KO composition, because he did pick up 2 bows, but with this Infinity, oh wow, he's actually going to drop to this Hand of Justice.
Did I do that?
Lucian, very powerful.
Yeah. All right. Well, win streak broken right before carousel. That's rough, but
That's fine.
had to end sometime.
Actually work, right?
Yeah, bows are pretty open-ended now. I think bows have actually completely reversed from the beginning of the set expansion, where people thought that they didn't want bows ever because they felt like it was fairly weak, to now bows probably are one of the most versatile items because it can combine into with every item, and you can find justification for it. Obviously, like if you play things like Giant Slayer and Rage Blade as part of your core carries, it's great. Defensively with Titan's Resolve and Xerot Portal has its use. And even just combining with Spatula, Infiltrator Claw is like one of the more useful spatula items. So those definitely found a lot of use these days. So I think Khroen, even though he has the Cybernetics build, still is fairly open to a bunch of different things. Oh, don't forget Last Whisper, one of the best offensive items right now to use.
I'm glad you brought up Infiltrator Spatula, because it's like the only spatula where you don't need to have any of the other synergy that works with it in to make it good. Because just making certain enemies or certain units dive to the back line is so strong. Did he really just put a Xerot Portal on a Vel'Koz?
Yeah, Xerot Portal on the Vel'Koz. That's a controversial decision for a multitude of reasons. Usually you want a Xerot Portal on something on the front line so that it can stall longer. And Vel'Koz usually goes at the back.
So I guess what you do is you try to lock up their infiltrators more with the minion, which is kind of keeping the Kaisa occupied. So it is sort of doing that. And I mean, I would imagine you would sell the Vel'Koz and put that on Nico later or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. The second reason why it's somewhat controversial because Xerot Portal also scales with the level of your unit. So you want to put on a 2-star unit.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, there you go.
Just right away moves it in. Okay.
There we go. Yeah. It looks like it was a 1-turn rental, and I'm totally fine with that. So that was,
sure.
if anything, it worked out really well because you lined up into the Mech Infiltrator. That could have been some really next level play here by Scott, who's going for a 3-star Poppy to make Xerot Portal gain even more life.
That's crazy. Like, I really wonder what he's doing now. Is he actually going for like the 6 Sorcerer double Vanguard thing? And just trying to go 3-star Poppy is like something to carry him into the late game?
I think he just wants a 3-star Poppy. And with Xerot Portal, that is excellent to have.
It is.
Poppies. There's a lot of Poppies right now on my screen.
I mean, in other occasions, 3-star Poppy is kind of a bait. But with Xerot Portal, maybe it's good enough. Not good enough there, but
yeah.
I don't know if it's really going to help him that much. He's probably going to get it, but we'll see.
It does feel like 3-star 1-cost units have very minimal impact compared to the previous sets where there was a few 1-cost carries that could be 3-starred and it would do a lot of damage.
There we go.
Like Tristana, and you're looking at Kog'Maw has a couple of examples.
Right.
But
back in the Mepreds era. Yeah, so he gets the Seraph Sanda Syndra 1, and that's actually fine to have that on Syndra 1 because you want her just basically being a mana battery, and it is infiltrators anyway.
Right. Is he also trying to go for Zoe 3?
I mean, it is trade sector, and his economy is good.
Okay.
So
yeah, it is trade sector. You're right.
All right. I mean, if you're gonna see it anywhere, you're gonna see it on this galaxy, right?
Right.
So
he's missing Soraka as a 6-star guardian.
I was gonna say you gotta roll one more.
What?
Yeah, because you're looking for 1 cost.
Yeah.
It's so funny because like Zoe really isn't ever a damage dealer in this comp. She just provides CC basically. So I don't know if maybe you get a 3-star if she gets off 1 more ultimate, possibly. I've never seen or done any testing myself what Zoe 3 brings to this build.
She recently got buffed, so
She
Zoe
did.
3, I mean, could have more application than we're giving it credit for. But I don't think the composition necessarily hinges upon Zoe hitting 3-star compared to Syndra and Nico and Ari. In fact, the data
Yeah.
heavily supports that.
Well, you also
as,
don't want to slow roll when you're looking for 1 costs as well. You want to get to
Yeah.
7 and you want to be able to get your 6-star Guardian buff and get online, you know?
Yeah.
That's a good start. Oh, there it is. All right.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah, there was a data dive being done by a really interested player of TFT, and they essentially used all the top challenger games to create a list of the best performing compositions. And the data heavily implied, although you can't really necessarily prove it just with that small sample size, the data heavily implied that the win rate of Star Guardian Sorcerers dramatically increases when you have a 3-star Syndra, and then the win rate like hits critical mass when you get 3-star Nico. Because you can obviously still lose if you get a 3-star Syndra, but having a 3-star Nico in the front line just makes it so sturdy when you get all the proper items on her.
I think the reason you might see that stat be a little bit more of a jump than for other comps is because Star Guardians is really one of those compositions that needs a 3-star Syndra or a 3-star Nico to even consider first place. It's so rare that you would win a lobby with Star Guardians and not have a 3-star Nico or Syndra. So I think just the nature of the composition would create a big spike in the data there because it's so much more necessary for that than in other comps.
Yeah, the only thing about all of these...
Oh, there it is.
Oh my goodness. I was about to say this. I was like, the only thing is that Poppy's taking up a lot of space on the board, and you want to start buying things like Nikos and Syndras and definitely the Aries. And I was like, well, if you're holding 3 Poppies onto the board here, or 5 rather, it's very annoying to deal with.
It is indeed, but he's got a 3-star Poppy now, so that is something.
That's right.
Really
But
nicely lined
Poppy
up.
got disarmed right after she made her glorious transformation. And she hit Super Saiyan 3.
It's okay. She'll be fine. She'll get her chance. It's gonna be enough.
No, she got disarmed again. That's so disrespectful.
It's okay. It's just a swag move to get a Poppy 3 anyway.
Wait, is Socks almost dead? Socks is at level 5, rerolling protectors and still not on Xin Zhao 2.
How does protectors? I mean, so here's one thing that we should maybe consider is that you think trade sector is a good thing for protectors because you get to reroll a lot, but everybody else's comps that require stronger units are also getting to reroll a bunch, and so they're just gonna have stronger versions of all their comps. So it doesn't really matter if your B tier comp gets online faster.
Exactly.
So
also, because
I'm going to reevaluate what I say about this Galaxy and say that maybe Prot is not stronger on it after all, or not. Even though it does come online faster, it doesn't really help.
Yeah, maybe I also largely believe that because you can see his chat spamming him. I also believe
you chose
that largely...
to play protectors.
Oh gosh, he's rolling all the way down. He's rolling all the way down. Where's all his units?
Where are his items too? Like, look at this. He has so few items for this point in the game. And he could build a Bramble Vest on Xin Zhao. There's some 3 stars. Build the Bramble Vest. There we go. Yeah.
All right.
So you find some 3 stars, but I think there's a bit of bad luck there too. The fact they didn't have 3-star Xin Zhao by that point in the game, and his items are really rough. He just didn't get good items this game too. So maybe this is a situation where like he should have pivoted based on his items, but he got stuck on protectors.
Yeah. Am I missing something? Xin Zhao with rapid fire cannon, is that a thing?
No, it's not. I don't think it really is.
Well, it allows him to attack after you get stunned. I don't know. I'm willing to be open-minded. I think it's one of the most important skills you can have in TFT, which is to keep your mind open to a bunch of possibilities.
Well,
that is very interesting to say the least.
My question is, if he was trying to capitalize on having rapid fire cannon on Xin Zhao, why put it in the front line?
Right. It makes sense on Rakan, perhaps, or a Sona who's in the back.
Actually, Rakan, I don't think you want to put it on right now because Rakan's targeting with his ultimate is now more limited than it was before. So
Oh, you're
RFC
right.
may
It
actually make
changed.
Rakan unable to ult. So yeah, you probably don't want to put it on him now.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. I actually hadn't thought about that.
But man, Jin Zhao with it though. I mean, yeah, he's attacking faster.
Yeah, it's true. He does get the attack speed.
I get Aurelia's really having a hard time with it. Eventually kills him. 3-star Sona. Can't do it.
Oh, poor Socks. And now the natural level to 6
Yeah.
at
So
Raptors.
I think Jin Zhao with RFC is fine if you have a Titan's Resolve, because then he's getting stronger as he's doing all
Yes.
this fast attacking. So because he's getting hit. But Bramble Vest, not gonna do it for you. So I think it's a combination of subpar items and not hitting his 3 stars as fast as you would hope to hit them, especially on trade sector.
Yes, it does seem like a very unfortunate pan out here for Socks. We'll see. If he finds a couple of mana items, does seem like he is low on the items, generally
His chat is
speaking.
merciless.
Oh, yeah.
Poor Socks, dude.
I mean, it kind of comes with the territory. Socks is a very opinionated player, so you get an opinionated chat to kind of...
Dude, Ine is even in there.
Yeah. So he sold his Thieves Gloves. He's gonna roll. I think you can consider like what. Let's try to consider what we can do in this position. Thieves Gloves, Sona, make the
okay.
Jewel Gauntlet.
Hey, he got a lot better right there. Actually, he got Morello's on Rakan, which is the best item for Rakan. He got an item on Sona, even though they're not great items. I guess she's more durable, and he got a Dragon's Fan on Xin Zhao. So he did get stronger there.
You are correct. That is very much a correct thing.
Triple IE? What?
Infinity Edges. On Khroen.
Somebody's a bit ambitious.
And she's gonna die to Sona. Oh, okay. She died to the shit when she dove it.
It is still I mean, I guess he's still gonna win, but like it was still a 1-star.
Is he gonna win?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes. There we go.
No,
yeah.
he's dead.
No, I'm saying Kale. I was talking about Khroen winning, not him.
Oh.
Not Socks.
Gotcha. I'm looking from the perspective of
I was saying because we were talking about the Aurelia, like even though Aurelia died, he was still gonna win. But yeah, when that becomes an Aurelia too, that's gonna be hilarious.
Oh geez, levels to 7 and an act desperation. What one unit can he play here?
You know what? Here's something that's really gonna blow your mind. What builds RFC?
2 bows.
And what builds Bramble Vest?
2 vests.
And what other item could you make out of those 2 components that is a lot better on Jin Zhao?
2 Titans resolves.
Yeah, and so maybe rather than slamming the RFC on Jin Zhao, it might have been better to wait for the vest.
How many Infinity Edges have been built this game? This is ridiculous. These
5.
Irelias are out of control. Socks is out in 8th place.
Oh, poor MismatchedSocks. That is a
wow. Lobby leader, finishing top 4 in every single game so far, out in 8th place by a pretty big margin.
We're gonna go over to Khroen's view now, but yeah, Mismatch. Kurum, not Khroen. I misheard. Because I was looking at the stats right now. Because indeed, it was a 3rd place, a 4th place, a 1st place, and now an 8th place for MismatchedSocks. That's a bummer.
Yeah, but now Kurum, excuse me.
Somebody with a K name.
Yeah, has the has a pretty solid cybernetics build, but it looks very middling. It doesn't look like a build that can win the game outright. He needs to make Misfortune a lot stronger. And he also would probably want Irelia to get the 3-star. However, Irelia seems to be so popular right now.
Mm-hmm.
And Fluffy with an uncontested mech infiltrator build gonna put pressure on the rest of the weaker cybernetics players.
Demolitionist Kaisa as well is going to make him a shoo-in for late game here. Although the lobby is really tight overall.
What? What is this carousel? 3 Rage Blades.
Wow. A GA?
Does that give you 2-star Rage Blade?
Maybe it gives you the Fury Blade. Like
what?
Whatever the upgrade is it.
I don't understand. And the rest of the items are great, like Death
Yeah.
Cap, Last Whisper, Guardian Angel.
Was anyone playing Kale this game? I don't know. Actually, we have one Kale player.
Yes. I
Yeah, we
mean,
do
there's
have
a
one,
couple of
at
KOs out
least.
there.
Yeah. Well,
But
one of them's going to be very
wow.
happy.
That's like a completed offensive carousel. That's like a niche of a niche carousel.
Yeah, that's crazy. All right,
All
so
right.
where does the Last Whisper go? Probably on Aurelia?
Yeah, most likely Aurelia. I
No
would wish
defensive
that
items, though.
the problem is that he's a 1-star Aurelia, and I feel like you would want to itemize
Yeah.
Misfortune.
Yeah, I agree. But you kind of, I suppose, just want mana items on Misfortune so she ults faster. But it is tough. It's a tough choice because already having an MF2, but still fighting for that Aurelia too.
Yeah, so there's 12 Aurelias in the pool, which means that 4 players can get to Aurelia 2, and only 1 player can get to Aurelia 3.
True.
Kurumx has a free rod. He's placing it on his Echo, hoping his Echo can carry, but that's just not enough. It's just not enough here for Kurumx.
You'd think if that was an Aurelia too, maybe he would have been able to win this versus the Ghost, but no such luck. And Khroen knocked out in 7th. Ouch.
Oof. So some of the most consistent players bombing out in 7th and 8th. That will happen eventually when you play a lobby like this.
Yeah.
Kurumx looking for anything, looking for Kale 2, looking for Aurelia. He's trying to look if he can mix up his positioning. I do feel like with all this spatter of like a tier and 2 rods, it does make me feel like there's an opportunity to itemize Misfortune here and try to spread out his items. But when you have, because you have Aurelia 1 as your item holder, and I think that's too low impact. This looks like Kurumx is the weakest player in this lobby. And yes, you look at who he's matching up. Gunmay. Who are you, Gunmay? And Gunmay looks at him and says, I'm you, but better.
That's right. I'm you from the future, and I'm disappointed in past you for being so weak.
Yeah, this was
6th
place destined for Kurumx, unfortunately.
Yep. All right, and Tien also getting eliminated in that round.
Oh wow, our top 4 is fairly unique.
No
ScottTheTeemo breaking top 4.
He did it for the first time today.
Is that the first time he's ever broke top 4 here in this tournament?
Maybe it is. I don't know. I'd have to go look through all the past days, but you might be right. I don't know. It's been a rough go for him. So it's Slash Bros for Agon, actually, who's currently sitting in 1st place.
With triple Rage Blade.
Yeah.
And he can't even catch the cane.
He's just like cycling. I'll get there. There we go.
Guys, I'm here. I'm here to help. Guys.
I'm here to dance with my sword.
And Blitzcrank's like, dude, the fight's already over, man.
Seems like it shouldn't be possible to grab the blade of an energy sword, but here we are.
Very interestingly, Agon didn't pick up his free reroll.
That's just how much of a swag lord he is. He's just like, I don't even need that reroll.
Is this the lobby that Agon wins because there's like nobody playing Dark Stars?
See, that is the secret to Trade Sector. You got to play a comp that no one else in the lobby is playing because everything else is going to be so contested with all the rerolls. I've cracked the code, Frodan. This is what you need to do on Trade Sector.
Yeah, and
not
also
this comp,
your
but
opponents have to not play the best comp in the game.
This is where Darius 3 pops off, man. This is the galaxy.
Okay. I'll take your word for it. Oh wow, the Yasuo snipes the Kaisa right before Kaisa was able to ult one more time, but does too much damage. Fluffy.
No defensive items on Yi.
Wow, did we just revert like half a patch here where Mech Infiltrator just gonna dominnate the lobby while everyone else tries to reroll?
Why not? So it's gonna be Mech Infiltrator versus Star Guardians, maybe? Although ScottTheTeemo, I think he won his last round.
Yep.
He's at 9 HP, but he's still alive.
Yeah, and it could be very much that when you play a reroll, when you're playing the Trade Sector Galaxy, you're highly incentivized to play composition that want to get the 3-star. So everybody picked a composition that wants to get the 3-star, or they played Cybernetics.
Why does he have the Sona in the front in his Rebels triangle? Whoa! That's what I'm wondering. Oh my goodness.
3-star Syndra, 3-star Nico, 3-star Ari, 3-star Poppy.
Welcome to patch 10.6, where you're the only person playing Star Guardians because no one else believes in it. So you get 3 3-stars over your game.
Oh Oh my goodness. Are we about to witness ScottTheTeemo win with this all 3-star composition? Does he have 3-star Zoe? No, he ended up selling those Zoes. Okay.
Oh, the dream is dead. It's a pretty good mech on the other side, though.
Yeah. He's looking for a 2-star Zera to swap in here.
Yeah. Gotta avoid that Zephyr if you can, too.
As if there weren't enough Infinity Edges, the Star Guardian player has an Infinity Edge this lobby as well.
Dude, Lux will put those 80 items to good use. And he does have 7 Star Guardians. I'm wondering, he could go to 6 Sorcerer. Maybe he's looking for one more.
Yeah, I actually would favor 6 Sorcerer.
I would too. He's got to find one, though.
They went for Mystics instead. But, you know, Agon trying to take it out. The Yasuo's finally onto the Syndra. Syndra's not paying attention. Yasuo gets a snipe. ScottTheTeemo. Can he take out this Yasuo in time? I don't think so. I think Yasuo's going to carry it home.
Yep, Ari died. Yeah, ScottTheTeemo nearly breaking the top 3, but he's going to have to settle for a 4th there.
Close.
I think I beat Kurumx, though.
I'm going to blame Poppy 3 for that one.
I blame Poppy too. What are these carousels? Another GA Bramblevest IE.
Man, these are crazy.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like, weirdly, I know this isn't possible, but I feel like on Trade Sector Galaxies, I see a lot more completed item carousels. I don't know why that is, but that's a thought I had coming in before this game even. I just feel like watching streamers, my own games, like you see so many completed item carousels on Trade Sector games. I don't know why that is. There's no science to it.
This is weird. This is a weird game.
It is, but it's a great build though for Fluffy. He's added the sorcerer buff. In fact, he's got 3 sorcerers in there.
Oh yeah.
Huh. Dark Star as well. Yeah. So why not power up the Shaco?
He's got Infiltrator Lux. Watch her jump the back line and ult the Shaco. Or no one else is playing Shaco. What does that even mean? Who does Lux ult? I don't even know. Oh, she has so much range she doesn't jump. Okay. I just never seen Lux with the Infiltrator Claw, so I didn't know what was going to happen. But apparently she has enough range to just attack anyway.
I guess she gets the attack speed.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Mech Infiltrator pretty good. Meanwhile, Master Yi, he's got the Bramble Vest. Oh, he's got the Bramble Vest, and it's enough to maybe kill Gunmay? No, not quite. Gunmay down to 6 HP. What a tight top 3.
Oh, wow.
For what is our last game of the day here?
I would love Agon to fight Fluffy, barely beat him. Fluffy goes down to like 2 HP. And then Gunmay, or actually Fluffy would go, I don't think that can happen actually. I'm not sure. Fluffy might go down to 1 HP at most based off the math of damage. And then Gunmay beats the clone, and then we have 3 players that get to go to stage 7-1. That's very rare. That's extremely rare to happen in TFT set 3 in Galaxies, let alone in a reroll Galaxy. Nope.
Yeah.
Looks like Agon.
Oh,
like
he put the
going for 6 Blade Masters. What is happening?
He put the Zephyr
in the
front.
Meme.
Is this actually gonna work?
No, it is not going to work. It is such a meme. Wait, is it gonna work?
I don't know, man. That's a Bramble Vest on that Yi. Can he heal? No, he can't heal enough.
This is such a meme. I can't believe it. All right, Agon sold everything. Went for 6 Blade Masters.
Oh, that's just it. The game's over. All right. Fluffy is going to win it with a little bit of Mech Infiltrator. We thought we'd escaped, but no, we have not. Yep. Wow. That's it. So that's game number 4. Fluffy is victorious. So Fluffy actually winning 2 games tonight, winning game number 2 and game number 4.
That's right. Fluffy is demonstrating some really versatile builds. You know, we saw him going for blasters, and then now he went for Mech Infiltrator. So really showing some unconventional builds on this patch, because not many people are playing blasters, and even fewer people seem to be playing Mech Infiltrators in a lot of these games. And he's uncontested. So, you know, really good job there. I think Khroen also played Mech Infiltrator 1 game. But for the most part, it seemed like people just kind of let him play the infiltration, what we've seen.
I think what we learned today the most was that on Trade Galaxy or on Trade Sector, you just find what no one else is playing and you play that. You don't want to fight the reroll battle. So you can see Fluffy with his 2 first places and a 2nd place thrown in there. Rough start to the day for him with a 7th, but bounces back to win the day. 30 points for him. Gunmay close behind at 28. MismatchedSocks, despite a really, really rough Protector game at the end, disproving everything I was saying about Protectors, is in 3rd with 24. 23 with a Star Guardian day for him.
That's right. Another rough day for Scott. He ends in 8th place at 11 points. Agon and Kurumx also at 13 and 14 points apiece. So it looks like it is unlikely for Kurumx and Agon and Scott to make it to the finals.
Seems that way, yeah.
But we'll see how standings shake out. In the meantime, Fluffy with a big day. We kind of hyped him up beforehand, and I'm glad he lived up to it.
I talked about how he needed to bounce back from a rough week last week. Same goes for Khroen, and both he and Khroen, I think, had better performances today. Khroen getting 3 top 4s. But Fluffy, the big winner, who is in the call with us right now, I believe. Hello? Fluffy, are you there? Fluffy, can you hear me?
I'm trying to figure this out. Wait, give me a sec.
Looks like Fluffy isn't ready quite yet.
All right.
But I want to kind of mention that how big of a drop MismatchedSocks getting 8th place in that last game was. That is brutal.
Yeah,
absolutely brutal. And he looked like he had a good start for it too. I don't blame him.
He did.
Had all defensive items. He found like 2 Shinzaos and 2 Rakans early.
Hello? Can you guys hear me?
Yo, what's up?
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
My mic was broken in Discord for some reason.
Oh, no worries. That happens. Okay. Yeah, so here you are, dominating in multiple games now, huh?
Yeah, I had a rough the first 2 weeks were kind of rough. So it was the first game tonight, but I managed to edge out. I'm super happy with my play as well. I feel like I played super solid. Especially in game 2, I think it was the blaster win.
Yeah,
for sure. Happy with my positioning there.
Yeah. Really so when you're playing Europe to Americas, does that affect your decision making at all, in terms of what comps you're playing or how you're even approaching things?
Not really. It's most likely, or mostly the players. If like the lobby's full of Milk and Kiyun, you're gonna see more mech, for example. But
makes sense.
Other than that, it's pretty much the same. The only thing that pretty much makes it more difficult, if I can put it like that, will be the ping. Normally the ping is fine, but I think they added a new West Coast server or something, because half the games I had 200 plus ping. So moving around units last second is super hard, and rolling down is kind of difficult. So I had one round this last game that cost me at least 12 HP or something because I rolled a little bit too slow, and I didn't get the units in time.
Makes sense.
A 3-star upgrade on any, I think, and Rumble.
Yikes!
Pretty big. Cost me some HP, but we got there.
So you just won a trade sector game. What, in your opinion, is the optimal way to approach that galaxy? Because it just came out last week. A lot of people are debating it. What do you think?
I mean, reroll comps are probably better because you have this like the 125 HP galaxy, but I don't know. Like you just need a solid early game. You saw a lot of people go cybers because you generally have an easier time to find upgraded cybernetics early. So that's a pretty good approach. But when a lot of people go for it, it's harder to hit. So more people died early, and nobody played Darkstar either, which is really weird to me.
Yeah, that is weird. Actually, now that you mentioned that.
But yeah.
Didn't want to fight you for the Shakos, I guess.
I mean, I wouldn't even go for it. If anybody else had a single Shaco, I would just pick up 3 and then let the others go. Unless I could block someone from getting 3-star Shaco, I would not pick them up. And mech, it doesn't do anything.
Got it. Fluffy, I know how competitive you were back in your Hearthstone days. Now that they've announced competitive for TFT for this set, is that a priority of yours as well?
Definitely. I've been playing nothing or doing nothing but TFT pretty much since the game came out. So I'm looking forward to it a lot, and hopefully I can manage to get a slot in the EU qualifiers. But I have no idea how it works, so I don't even know what server I'm playing on. So we'll see what happens.
Wow. That's a good point.
Because if you're
grinding America, NA,
I'm playing both. I'm playing EU and NA. I have 2 accounts on EU and 1 on NA, but I might have to play Nordic East because I'm from Sweden. So but we don't know. We have no info from EU. So I actually might have to just make a new account in like a week and grind top 10 there. I have no clue.
Gotcha.
Just have to grind up in a week, no problem.
Top 10 and 3 servers, no big deal. That sounds.
Oh yeah.
I'm not. Yeah.
Anyone can do that. Yeah, it's fine. So as of today, You are currently, I believe, second in overall points, right behind Gunmay, very close, 69 to
Oh shit,
65 points. Yeah,
nice.
so you're
Right.
definitely catching
Hopefully
up.
enough for top 8 for the
Uh,
final or something.
I think you'd have to play pretty poorly to not make
Yeah,
top 8 at this point. Not that
hopefully.
I don't want to jinx you. See, don't put me in this position. You're putting me in the caster curse position. So be
True,
very
true, true.
careful about what you say.
Yes,
Right.
that is true. Yep.
It's
Yeah.
your fault. It's your fault, though. Would be
Definitely
wrong.
your fault if I don't
Right.
make it.
Now you've got me as a scapegoat. Great.
Great.
You and
For
everybody
sure.
else.
Got it. Well, Fluffy, I think we're out of questions and out of time. We got to wrap this up. So, is there anything else you
Yeah.
want to say before we end the night here?
Not much. Just thanks to Giant Slayer for hosting this thing. It's been a blast playing so far.
Excellent. We love
Awesome.
Giant Slayer.
Yeah,
We do.
definitely.
Thank you for playing in it. And yeah, I guess that's it then.
All right. Thanks
For
for
you.
me.
So be gone.
See ya.
Yep. See you later, man. Well, it was an interesting day. It was a great day of TFT, Frodan. What did you learn?
I think that this patch has more exploration to be done. The compositions that won, they varied, right? We had Dark Stars obviously do well. Star Guardians did pretty well at the same time, but we also had Blasters and Mech Infiltrator. So there's more exploration to be done. And poor Agon really trying hard to do unconventional stuff. I really respect him
Yeah.
for that, but it doesn't seem like it's working out. In the meantime, props to Gunmay Fluffy for putting a really good case to make top 8. Again, Milk has yet to play for the 3rd time, so it's likely
Right.
that Milk overtakes them unless he gets 8th 4 times in a row and ties Gunmay at 69. But yeah, overall, like a really fun day of games.
Oh yeah, for sure. And we got a good mix of galaxies, good mix of normal games, and we are seeing the meta shift pretty completely, honestly, between patch. So let's take a look at our schedule. What's coming up? Well, guess what? Tomorrow night, more games. Another group of players. We're gonna have Becca, Delicious Milk, Raditz, Soju, Solus, Kuhn, Kiting Is Hard, and Dsik all in the lobby together tomorrow night. That is gonna be a stacked lobby, a ton of fun to watch. And I think the biggest question is Delicious Milk going to continue to follow through? No scout, no pivot, mech every single game. It's worked well so far, but no, the meta's changing. The patches have happened, and I don't know. We'll see if that's strong enough to keep carrying him.
All right. We will see if that's the case. And then we have one lobby next week to make up for what happened on a couple weeks ago. And then
Right.
that's it. Giant Slayer series is over, and you have your first champion of set 3 of Teamfight Tactics Galaxies. So it's going to be really cool to see what ends up happening, though.
Indeed. Huge thanks to juked.gg for sponsoring the tournament. Again, exclamation point GSS in the chat can get you a page that will find all the player views, all the VODs, all the schedules, all the good stuff around Giant Slayer series. Definitely type that and also put juked.gg in your bookmarks. It's just a great place to go find pretty much every esport right now. It's all there. So yeah, I use it every day. No joke. Even before they sponsored this tournament, I use it every day.
Ooh, sounds good.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah. So
Yeah, Juke, thanks for making it really helpful and easy to obviously watch, and also for supporting one of the best community initiatives out there, I think, in the industry.
yeah, for sure, man. I mean, we need more TFT action. So Giant Slayer giving us the top level TFT right now. Awesome to see. And that's going to do it for tonight on Giant Slayer series. We will see you guys tomorrow for another lobby, 6 p.m. Pacific time. Don't miss it. It's going to be awesome. See you then.